Ow.
I forget you can't see what it looks like.
What do you mean?
Like, because you can't see into the camera right now.
What are you talking about? I'm Jordan Love.
Jordan Love is taking Christine's place today.
Psych. It's love season.
Love is in the air.
Love is in the air.
Wait, what was that thing you said?
I'm in love.
That you were telling me and Ryan yesterday at work that one of your clients said something to you and you were like, it's a sign.
Oh, no, it was on Saturday at the shop, at the tattoo shop. I was making Ryan an appointment. Oh, okay.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, so
okay.
I have this app on my phone that's like, it sends you a positive affirmation every day. And the app I got on Saturday morning was, listen to signs from the universe.
Okay.
So I went into work on Saturday and we got a phone call and the person requested an appointment for Monday. And I asked what kind of tattoo they wanted to get and they said, love never fails. And I was like, this is the sign from the universe that I gotta trust.
Nice.
Jordan Love. And I think it panned out pretty well.
Oh yeah, I would say so.
I'm a happy lady.
I didn't really get to watch really any of your games.
That's okay. The 425 slot was loaded.
I know. I was honestly really annoyed because there was just so many exciting
so
games.
many good games in that time slot.
Yeah, and no matter how many TVs I was surrounded by at 425, I just was only focusing on the Eagles game because it was Stress City in New England.
Yeah. I was the same too. We had friends over.
Your game seemed really relaxing.
It was really boring actually the first half, but the second half got really interesting.
Okay, is that when everything started
That's
happening?
when everything started happening. The defense started looking really crazy good, and
nice.
I don't know, Jordan Love looked great. I'm stoked.
You should be.
I'm really happy. It's a little tough to be like gloating today because of the whole Aaron Rodgers situation going on, but I just gotta gloat for a second.
Oh, just gloat.
Because I feel like the whole offseason, Packers fans were kind of getting shit on. Like, people are like, oh, he's gonna be trash. There's no way you can have 3 back-to-back Hall of Fame quarterbacks. I'm not calling him a Hall of Fame quarterback yet.
Yeah.
It's week 1, you know? Like, anything can happen. But he looked good. He looked composed again.
So, I feel like you're also leaving out just so many things, too, about how, like, not only did he look good, but, like, he had... So you have the Jets who take all of his veteran receivers.
Yeah. 8 of our guys went to the Jets?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That leaves you guys with, like, more, like, rookie wide receivers.
Totally. We have the youngest team in the NFL right now, age-wise.
Yeah, and then Christian Watson gets
Had a
injured
hammy.
and he's out of the game.
Romeo
so you're
Dobbs has a hamstring injury and said limited.
Right, so you are just, like, kind of, like, taking more and more away from this team with this, like, not new, but, like, now starting quarterback
still
on his first, on his, like,
intimidating situation.
Yeah, his debut starting game.
Right.
And, like, you know, I was doing a daily fantasy and I remember, like, taking Aaron Jones, which still was a huge...
Yeah.
I didn't win my daily. I did pretty well. I did more than half. I probably was in, like, the top 30% out of, like, almost 200,000 people. I thought that was pretty... Fantastic. I didn't win any money, but, like, it was free for me to enter it, so whatever. But Aaron Jones was probably my most... Him and Calvin Ridley were probably my 2 top scoring people Ridley. On that salary style daily fantasy, which was fun. But, yeah, Aaron Jones had a great game, but so did Dobbs.
Yeah, Dobbs had a phenomenal game.
They just had a really strong connection.
They have chemistry. I think even when Watson comes back, Dobbs is still going to be getting an equal amount of work.
I think there's a trust there.
There is
now,
a trust there.
You know?
Well, I think they had the same, like, strength and conditioning coach, so they practiced together in the off seasons a lot, even prior to this year. So they know each other very well.
Right.
Their timing is good.
I think so this is kind of, I'm going to be taking us back to week 1 last year where, was it Christian Watson who dropped that big catch? Yeah, he dropped that
huge.
And then
everybody said that set the tone for our season.
I agree. That's where I was going with that. Absolutely. And so now you have Dobbs, like, and Love having that really strong connection, and so that could set the tone for this season. And I think that is going to be more of a strength in them but I still think Christian Watson's still going to get a lot of action.
It's going to be awesome. When he comes back, it's going to be great. Jaden Reed looked great. I think Love had a lot of trust in him. And he's supposed to be our wide receiver 3, but I think they had a chemistry too.
It's great.
And then we got to see Matt LaFleur's offense without Rodgers. Like,
see, I think that's
Matt
a huge
LaFleur.
thing too. Like, there's just this
he's not getting enough.
Yes,
you can feel a different energy there.
Yeah.
And the team really rallies around Love. You can tell they have so much love and so much confidence in him. And
you're underdogs now.
We're underdogs. I think also, like, we can't ignore the fact that the Bears just stink. They stink. They looked lousy.
How was Justin Fields?
He looked lousy. The guy has the ability to run, and I was really nervous for that prior to the game. But, like, our defense really stepped up. They stink. They're lousy.
So maybe it was a mistake them trading away those first picks, right? Didn't they trade away?
Yeah, they took DJ Moore, too, and, like, he didn't do much. I think he was targeted 3 times. I think maybe he had a touchdown. Jordan Love, 345 yards. 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Damn. I know. Okay. I'm really stoked. I'm in love.
I love it.
I love it too.
Not trying to be funny, but
I mean, I'm a little nervous going into the week 2, the Falcons matchup. I think Bijan's going to have a good day running on us, but
I think running plays are easier to adjust on a defensive side than like receiver weapons.
I absolutely agree. But I also am frustrated because I still feel like there's a lot of noise and no one's giving Love any credit yet.
A lot happened this week.
Oh, okay, yes. Let's not lie to ourselves.
Also, I think that Love is getting some attention, especially on the fantasy side of things, because now we have people who have Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback. My sister being one of those people. And
also, all of the top quarterbacks this week kind of shit the bed. Burrow did terribly. Josh Allen didn't do great.
I didn't think Josh Allen did that bad.
Didn't do. That was ugly.
From what I saw,
he threw 3 interceptions?
Okay, so
I know he throws a lot of interceptions. He's a risky guy.
Yes. Okay, so I think Josh Allen is one of these like risk it for the biscuit. It's week 1, like just kind of go out there and see what you have.
He's scrappy.
Yeah, like I kind of liked if that's like a strategy that he was. If that is part of his strategy, it's just like, you know, week 1, I'm just going to go like balls out and like see what happens. If we lose week 1, we lose week 1. I don't think this loss is going to come and bite them in the end of things.
Any of these losses are going to bite any of them. Yeah. The Bengals aren't going to look like this all season.
If anything, like I kind of don't mind that he went for those risky deep passes, and because now you also know on your offense, like, how to adjust these routes and him maybe timing his speed with his receivers a little bit better. Right. Like, you know, also though too, don't forget the Jets defenses, they were really great last year. Yeah, with like interceptions and stuff like that. I've heard
all offseason like the Jets are going to be the defense, and they looked damn good last night.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it'll stay that consistent moving forward.
It's going to be interesting watching the Jets
what goes on there. Should we just rip the Band-Aid off at this point?
I still have a few more things about Josh Allen.
Go, because you know I'm going to get emotional.
Yeah, so with Josh Allen, like, okay, and I'm just going to say this across the board for week 1. Like, it's really hard to be impressed or unimpressed with a performance in week 1 because it's still just, like, kind of putting your feet in the water and, like, when we get to week 3, week 4, and this stuff is still happening, then I'm ready to write him off. But
realistic.
I think that Josh Allen is just kind of, you know, like I was saying, like this strategy thing. And I don't think, I mean, yeah, they lost, but it was a close game. And, you know, if this is one to go out there and just kind of like risk it, I think this is it. And I kind of admire that out of him. You know what I mean? Because he was running like crazy, which was kind of scary. Like, that man is going to get hurt.
It always worries me.
Yeah, I don't like this barreling down the field and lunge diving instead of sliding.
Yeah.
He's going to end up injured. Yeah. You know, I could
surprised he's gone this far and really hasn't.
With no kind of knee injury or anything.
I don't even want to say I have him in one of my leagues, but.
Yeah, so I don't know. I liked I liked Josh Allen's performance yesterday. I wouldn't hold it against him, the interceptions. Because is it his fault, or was his receivers just not getting to the... They were deep passes. So.
I just think everything looked a little sloppy, but it's week one.
It's technically
it's preseason
in some games.
Preseason week 4 basically is what week 1 of regular season is to me.
I mean, most of the starters don't even play in preseason. I think,
and that's another thing I wanted to talk about. I think that, with the injuries that have happened and just kind of everybody looking a little messy. Like, I am a person that believes that starters should play preseason.
I just don't know if it's worth...
Okay, so risking an injury?
Because I feel like you're more likely to get an injury because, think about your offensive line. It's not your starting offensive line. It's your some starting and some rookies. So I'm not going to want Jalen Hurts playing without Kelsey and Mailata and Lane Johnson.
It's a good argument.
You know what I mean? So, and I think that it's good for a couple snaps. Yeah. Normally, I didn't really follow the Eagles preseason except for one game against the Browns. And, I don't think we ever had... I could be wrong, so don't quote me on this, but I don't think Hurts ever played in preseason. But we'll get into that. Let's go ahead and rip this Band-Aid off, get this out of the way.
Ouch, man.
It's tough.
It's so tough.
And you didn't even get to see it.
No.
I think it's for the best.
Or we're talking about the massive elephant in the room of Aaron Rodgers with a torn Achilles. I'm super bummed today. I had a rough time sleeping last night.
I cannot believe...
They're cursed. The Jets are cursed. The quarterback situation is cursed there.
Why do you think it's cursed?
They just can't ever have a good quarterback. And I have so many thoughts on this, I don't even know where to start.
Me either. I just don't know how to process this. This whole season has just been one after another.
Thursday feels like a lifetime ago.
Oh, yeah.
Because so much has happened.
Sunday was an eventful day. And yesterday.
That whole thing.
Aaron Rodgers, first of all, did not see this coming.
Me either. How did it not even occur in my head once that this man might get injured?
I wasn't even really thinking that he was going to be potentially sacked almost twice in back-to-back plays.
Well, can I get emotional here?
If you want.
So, I find it really kind of shitty. I'm not calling out the Jets organization, but it's weird to me that a team like the Jets will invest so much in a new shiny quarterback. Granted, he's 38 or 39 years old.
He had a 4-year contract.
Yeah, invest so much in him, right? Invest so much in ball catchers, but not invest in their offensive line. The offensive line is the insurance policy for your quarterback.
Do they have anyone on their O-line?
Their O-line sucks. That's like going out and buying your dream house and not insuring it. You don't do that. So the Packers have caught a lot of flack. And even from me, we draft, I'll call it draft broccoli. It's not sexy, but we always draft in the couple of first rounds, offensive line. It's not a sexy move, but it's good for your team.
Yeah.
We've protected Rodgers for 17 seasons. He's had minor injuries, but nothing like that. And I get that he's older and things like this are going to happen, but if you're going to be drafting an older or trading for an older quarterback, you should be also stacking your team to protect him.
I agree.
And that was even, I didn't see it. Unfortunately, I was driving to meet Allie. I had left work last night and I was driving to get to her in time for kickoff, but I was kind of late and I missed Rodgers I missed the whole thing. I didn't see the injury. It sucks. And I'll get emotional. I didn't even get to see him at all.
It wasn't much to see.
I know it wasn't much, but it's crazy. What was it? 4 snaps?
I think it was 4
snaps and the man was injured?
Yeah.
And didn't
I don't know if he even threw the ball once. Maybe he did and it just wasn't, I don't remember.
It sucks, man. I feel
I hope that this isn't his final game, but you never...
A career ender. He's old. He's older. It's hard to recover from a torn Achilles.
In general.
Yeah. But as a 38-year-old, almost 39-year-old quarterback, I don't know. I'm upset. I wanted to see him play. Every football is just better with someone like that. Throwing the ball,
and there was just
somebody
so much. I think just even the country in general, and maybe I'm coming out of pocket with this, but I think a lot of people were just even if they don't want to admit it, curious about this
Absolutely.
Aaron Rodgers on the Jets thing.
Yeah, it's so cool. And watching Hard Knocks, granted I've never been able to see his day-to-day in Green Bay like I did watching Hard Knocks, and he seemed like happy and excited, and it felt like he had this energy and like he finally like found his place now. You know?
No, not his place.
Well, I mean, he just seemed like his energy just seems lighter. Like I feel like the past like couple years in Green Bay, he seems like grumpy and stressed.
Do you think he was grumpy? I think he did seem grumpy too, but I wonder what it was.
I don't know. I don't know if it was the relationship with the front office. I don't know. You hear all that stuff. I don't know what's true. But watching him on Hard Knocks, he just seems so invested and he put so much work in and he seemed happy, and it's so shitty. I'm
crazy.
So sad.
It's crazy too because the play itself it was very gentle almost.
Yeah, it didn't look like
as gentle
anything.
as it could be, and I just think maybe the right angle of his leg and no weight support on the foot, and then just
the calf injury and off season. Maybe
I
the
made
whole leg
a joke about how like maybe it's all this crazy stuff that he's doing
like, with his body.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what his diet is and all that, but like,
who knows? It's upsetting.
Hopefully he comes back next year, but it might not even be next year. It might be 2 years from now.
That's a really rough one. I was reading about it, and they say it's harder to recover from a torn Achilles than an ACL.
I think that's the like technology with healing a ACL has really improved
so much,
and we haven't really seen a whole lot of Achilles injuries but maybe I'm sure Aaron Rodgers will find, well, who knows, he might have some weird voodoo remedy to
crystals
heal this Achilles. Yeah. But like, you know, let's hope for the best.
Yeah. I'm so sad.
I'm bummed. I really don't know how to feel. Like, I guess it was funny because I was talking to my mom about it, and we were talking, and I'm just like, you know, my mom didn't ever really like Aaron Rodgers, but even she was just so shocked and kind of upset. And I'm just like, I just really didn't realize how much I wanted to watch Aaron Rodgers play until I realized I'm not going to get to watch Aaron Rodgers play. Like, I didn't realize how important it was to me this season to just kind of like go along with this. And, you know, I had been planning to go to the Eagles-Jets game, and now I don't want to go. And I'm like, was I really only wanting to go to that to watch the Eagles play Aaron Rodgers? And I guess that was the motive.
You get to watch a Hall of Famer. It makes your day better, you know?
Yeah.
It's just fun to watch. And a lot of people don't like him.
I think, and I'm just trying to be optimistic, but I think Aaron Rodgers, this isn't the last we've seen
I agree.
of him.
That's not who he is. He's not going to just... He's not going to go out with, like, his last ball in Green Bay being an interception to the Lions, or go out like this.
Right.
You're only a few snaps on the Jets, and you have a season-ending injury.
Yeah.
It's not going to go down like that. That's not him.
Has he said anything personally yet? Okay.
No. I guess
he is a really, like, tight-lipped person when it comes to this kind of thing.
But also, the man's probably just reeling today. He's probably just in disbelief. Because I feel like we're all just so shocked.
Is that what I'm feeling? I don't know what I feel.
It's so weird. And I don't understand the mentality of Packer fans that are like, haha, this is hilarious. Or any fans finding this funny. It sucks.
It does. It's just crazy. I don't know how else to like describe
Literally shocking. Script writers are busy.
There's no way. There's no way.
If Tom Brady steps in.
Okay, so are we going to go into that now?
Let's get to it.
There is no way that Tom Brady just had the biggest celebration ever in New England, in the rain, you know, all this stuff, officially retires, we're done with him. For him to just go to another division team...
So it was
a team in the same division. There's no way. That has to be a joke.
It was all over media this morning, like, oh, well, Tom Brady come back and step in.
Why do people want to have Tom Brady come back anyway?
I don't know.
He did terrible last season.
There was a video that he posted on his Instagram this morning of him and his son, like, playing basketball somewhere in New York or something. And everybody's like, oh, he's in New York. Why is he in New York?
He was in New England.
Exactly.
He wasn't that far away from New York. It was
probably just the media, like, hyping something up.
He might have even just felt like going to that Jets game. Bills game.
He was at the Jets game. But can you imagine?
I'm sure the man goes to New York often. Isn't he supposedly... Is that still a thing, him dating Kim Kardashian?
I don't know.
Doesn't she live in New York?
I don't know. I don't know any of that stuff.
That sounds right. I could just be spreading rumors at this point. But I thought I read that somewhere like weeks ago.
No, there was a thing that said they were dating.
They are dating?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to... look this up while we still address this Tom Brady thing.
But wouldn't that be crazy?
He did terrible last season. Did he even make the playoffs last year? No.
No. Almost?
No.
The South was terrible.
Wait.
What, like it's
maybe
hard?
No, he did make the playoffs out of, like, because they won their division.
Oh, that's right.
With
Tampa Bay did
less than 500
yes,
season,
it was below 500
which is
average.
disgusting.
Yeah, that was so dumb. Yeah, but wouldn't that be crazy? Like, that to me would prove that.
That would be annoying.
It's scripted. Brady comes back, plays for the Jets, wins the Super Bowl. Can you
no,
imagine?
they're not. No.
At least so mad.
There's no way because, okay, that would 100% be scripted because, get out of here. Because Tom Brady did terrible last year. So how all of a sudden now him replacing Aaron Rodgers, is he going to win a Super Bowl?
Exactly.
There's no way.
There's no rational thinking with this either because Tom Brady's older than Aaron Rodgers, and you're going to put Tom Brady behind that offensive line. He's going to tear his Achilles and more. Bad idea.
Let's see. He is not dating.
Not dating.
Honestly, they're just friends. So, but that could just be what they want us to.
Honestly, they're just friends.
That's what it says verbatim. But I think they just want us to think that. And he was in New York visiting her, not because he's trying to be the Jets quarterback.
Maybe they're sleeping together.
Probably.
I love how we're talking about this, and I'm drinking a martini. I'm such a Samantha.
Me too. I've never seen that show.
You should watch it. Not the new one, the old one. Anyway.
So, okay.
Back to more testosterone-filled talk.
And Aaron Rodgers replacements.
Aaron
there is just so much to talk about this because
oh my God.
We have a lot to say on a fantasy side, a lot of just like throwing it out there. So it was funny. I'm going to go into this story again, but I'm on my way to your house and I'm just like, you had asked me to bring some Eagles stuff, and I don't really have like set worthy Eagles memorabilia. I have
we needed
I have my
Eagles stuff on Allie's shelf.
Beer-covered Super Bowl winning jersey.
It's got history.
It does. I have never washed it, never worn it since he won the Super Bowl. So, I'm just like I have some things that are like up in storage that are small, but I just like did not have the time to get them. And I'm like, all I really have is like oven mitts and like things. And I'm like, I'm not gonna bring a bunch of kitchen stuff.
Oven mitts for that.
Yeah, I have like Tupperwares and cups and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm not gonna just like set up the set like we're doing like a Betty Crocker fantasy football podcast. So I do have some really cool newspaper articles, like the full on page. It's not cut out and everything. I kind of just want to leave it how it is, but just because it also says what also is going on at the same time. Like there was something in the NBA really cool. going on during one of them. I can't remember, but I have when Nick Foles was coming back to play to replace Wentz, like his first game that he was going to start. I have a newspaper from that. I have a newspaper from them winning the Super Bowl. And then I have a newspaper from the following year when Carson Wentz was getting ready to play for us again. And then I was just like, Carson Wentz, is he still not on a team? Like, is he going to be the new Jets quarterback? And I'm driving along thinking, like, I've just, like, dawned on this idea that I'm probably the only person who's going to ever, like, think of this as an option. And we're at lunch. And you're like, oh, all over the internet, they're talking about Carson Wentz being the new Jets quarterback. And I was like, how was everybody on top of this before I was? And that I didn't think that.
Fast.
But so that gives me hope then. I'm probably like the only Eagles fan out there that still has a soft spot for Carson Wentz. I don't want him back on the Eagles unless he replaced Mariota. Like, I 100% would take Carson Wentz over Mariota any day.
Who else was in that thing that you love too, though?
Nick Foles. You said Nick Foles, but there's no way. Like, if Nick Foles is going anywhere, it's back to the Eagles so he can retire as an Eagle.
Agreed.
That 100% is someday going to happen.
The right thing to happen.
But in my dream world, what would happen is we send Mariota to the Jets, and then we get either Carson Wentz or Nick Foles as our backup quarterbacks. That a lot of things would have to happen for that to happen.
Man.
And I just feel like Carson Wentz would never want to come back to Philadelphia.
Why not?
They don't like him there. They say a lot of mean things about Carson Wentz in Philly.
It's a tough place to play. You're either really loved or really hated.
If you're Carson Wentz or Ben Simmons, it's very tough.
Yeah.
Don't be showing your face Santa. In Philly. Or Santa, yeah. I can't forget about him. But no, like, again, I've talked about this before. I think Carson Wentz, other than his little, like, run on the Eagles, has never really had a chance to fully like settle in with a team and prove himself. I think he is a great quarterback.
Yeah.
You
always have that man's back.
Don't really think that the Jets is the best place for him, but why not? Yeah. You guys had Mark Sanchez. Like, he can't be worse than that guy.
I feel like at this point, the Jets are just going to throw a bunch of shit at the wall and see what sticks.
Who were some other ones? We had Nick Foles. Oh, Matt Ryan. Don't do that, please.
He's already commentating. You're going to pull that man from commentating? It's not very entertaining. But
maybe they'll just keep rolling with Zach Wilson. Who's their backup?
I think they should.
Zach
Personally,
Wilson?
I think they should. I don't know who their backup is. I'm not a Zach Wilson fan. Personally.
Now we gotta like see him on TV.
However, they're saying like maybe Rodgers will be there to kind of mentor him. But I know like Rodgers is probably gonna be busy rehabbing.
Well, they can't have him on the line.
I don't believe
because he's not on the roster.
Yeah.
Unless they make him a coach. Can you do that?
I don't know. I don't know all the ins and outs of that.
I
like thought to myself, I'm like, well, if Rodgers retires, he'll probably like end up on McAfee or something every week. You know, it's one of those guys. Like maybe that'll be his new job.
Yeah. But what would Aaron Rodgers do if he didn't play football? Golf? I don't know.
Totally would golf.
Is he good at golf?
Yeah, he's really good at golf.
Huh. I could see him being a coach.
Me too. He would be a great coach.
I could see him being...
He's a good teacher. You can tell him.
Yeah. You think so? Mm-hmm. I would be terrified of him.
Yeah, but I think
honestly, I could see
he's a good teacher.
Aaron Rodgers retiring to some random island, maybe in Polynesia, and just
doing ayahuasca all the time.
Yeah, having like a hula skirt on and like, just being
one
himself,
with the earth,
taking mud baths and things like that, eating bugs, like
100%.
Yeah, I don't know. Wearing
I would go to that
crazy
island
necklaces
for like a week and hang out with him, and then just go back to
maybe he will buy his own island.
Sure, I could see it.
Maybe he already has an island.
Maybe he'll run for office.
What?
I don't know. I could see it.
Maybe he'll become the Jags mascot.
No, that's my job.
She did not send in her application.
I'm going on a trip. I'll apply when I get back if the job's still available.
You can't wait that long.
What if I get called for an interview while I'm in Europe?
Zoom.
True.
Anyway, so... Now, what would we say our advice is to the people out there that have Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback?
Obviously, drop him.
Well,
pick up Jordan Love.
Jordan Love, I almost guarantee if he is still available, was probably not drafted in an actual fantasy.
I picked him up in 2 of my leagues. I think this week I have 3. I think in standard scoring leagues he put up 23 points.
Not bad. He did more than Mahomes, and he did more than Herbert.
More than Josh Allen. Do we know if it's going to continue? I just think people probably want to see more from him before they're convinced.
Look at your guys' schedule. Like,
I know. We have a pretty easy schedule.
Yeah, I think he could be in that group. Him and Jared Goff, I think, are going to be pretty similar as far as like consistency.
Yeah, I could see that.
So I'm just going to use Cass as an example because she has Aaron Rodgers as her one and only quarterback. She told me she's thinking about, and hopefully nobody, well, this won't air until after the waivers clear, so it doesn't even matter. But she said she's thinking of Love, Mac Jones. I told her Zach Wilson, but she said she doesn't trust it. Do you think Zach Wilson is a good option?
I personally wouldn't go with it. I'm not convinced.
I guess they didn't really score that many touchdowns.
He did good. I mean, they
only scored one
decent
touchdown on offense,
but
and then
let's be real. Week 1 was the week of defenses and not really offense.
True.
It was a very weak offensive week.
I'm not ready to count Daniel Jones out either.
I know.
That was a fluke on Sunday.
That was rough.
I barely want to talk about it, but I know we have to touch on it.
Especially, obviously, I wouldn't want to talk about immortal enemies scoring 40 points and shutting out a team completely.
That's your mortal enemy?
No, I'm talking about your mortal enemies.
Yeah.
I don't care about the Cowboys.
It's just annoying.
It is.
Cowboy fans are so annoying, and I hate giving them things to be annoying about.
I know. It was all defense. For the most part.
They had a game like that last year against the Colts.
And they played the Jets this week. Can you imagine if the Cowboys' defense was that good, if this didn't happen to Rodgers this week, it probably would have happened to Rodgers. this upcoming week.
Yeah, because they're kind of dirty and they just love to go after like
dirty,
specifically
like this martini.
Yeah.
Very dirty. Very strong.
I lost my train of thought because of the Cowboys. Oh, Daniel Jones. So, you did spill it.
It broke. Well, these were for my wedding. I said before we started filming, $10 I spilled this martini on myself.
Do you want some of mine?
No, I'm already lit.
Okay.
This was strong.
Oh, gosh.
But my pants are wet.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. We'll just put this to the side.
Anyway,
it's because we're talking about the Cowboys.
Yeah, they did this to us.
Jinx.
So, anyway,
Where's the
I'm
olives?
not sitting here telling people that they should go get Daniel Jones if they had Aaron Rodgers, but I just also am, like, not sold that he is not a potentially good fantasy quarterback on your bench for a bye week or
I need another week.
I need another week with a lot of stuff.
Totally. Even with Jordan Love, I want to see more, you know? And I think a lot of people feel that way too, but...
Week 1 is not the week to be, like, making these assumptions of what's going to happen for the rest of the season. And week 1 is always the most annoying to me because everybody just feels...
It's quick to have an opinion.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yo, this just started and, you know, we're still working the kinks out on a lot of our teams. And it's just... It's not really the time or place to be, like, rubbing it in people's faces.
Totally
Cowboy
agree.
fans and 49er fans. I don't even want to...
They look good, though.
Who did?
The Niners.
I don't think they...
I know you're not ready. I know you're not ready.
Listen, I am going to admit that I probably made a mistake going with the Steelers last week over the 49ers. That was dumb of me. But I'm still... I guess I am sold on the 49ers offensive players. I don't think McCaffrey's going to be as good as everybody predicted. I think he's still going to be good, but I'm happy that I did not go with him in my first pick over Jefferson.
I struggled there too. One of my leagues I had the first pick, and I went back and forth for a while trying to figure out who I was going to take, and I ended up going with Jefferson as well.
Yes. I think that McCaffrey...
And that's hard for me because I hate the Vikings.
I just, again, like, I feel like Did we say this in the episode, or was it when I was talking to you? Like, run... defenses are easier to adapt, like, to a running back over a receiving defense. Like, how you're going to defend a receiver. It's so much easier to just stop a runner, I think, and figure out their aim, you know? Like, there's only so many juke plays that you can run, and, you like, everything has to be set up perfectly. And, like, I just think that, like, McCaffrey is good once he breaks through the line, but he's also stoppable. Like, the Steelers' defense did stop him a few times. They've got a great defense. Especially early in the game, they were stopping him, which led to the Ayuk
touchdowns.
Was it Ayuk?
2 touchdowns.
Okay.
Also, he had an insane block.
He did really, really great.
One of them, McCaffrey touchdown. I don't know how many touchdowns McCaffrey had, but
McCaffrey ended up scoring a lot of fantasy points.
He always does.
But, you know... I think, you know, I'm kind of contradicting myself. Like, one thing about McCaffrey is he also is very good at, like, adjusting.
Yes.
But if you put a different defense in there, like the Cowboys defense, I'm excited for that matchup. It's happening this season. We play them. So, I think the Cowboys are going to end up beating the 49ers when they face off.
That'll be interesting.
I'm definitely not sold on Purdy either.
I know you're not.
I think that he is just like every other quarterback out there that is like he's definitely in the top tier, but do I think he's this like fantastic like quarterback? No.
He's good.
But there's a lot of good quarterbacks. Do I think he's excellent? No.
When that game first started, watching the first quarter, I was like, holy shit, he is what everybody said he was. But then it kind of fizzled out as the game went on.
I think he was just out there doing his job against a team that was not prepared for their opponent.
No, I agree with you.
I'm not writing the Steelers off either.
No, I'm not either. I totally agree with you on that one.
Okay, so the issue with the Steelers is their receivers were not catching the ball. That was, you know how many, like, end zone, like, throws were made to these players, and they just kept dropping perfect passes.
Yeah, we saw that a lot this week.
That should have been a closer scoring game, and I felt bad. So I do still like Kenny Pickett.
I do too.
I do still love Mike Tomlin. Yeah. I think that they just still have some things to figure out, some more practice. Like, I'm not writing off the Steelers.
No way. Their defense is amazing.
Yeah.
TJ Watt's insane. How could you write them off?
I'm not sold on Purdy. I am going to take back what I said about the 49ers as a whole. Like, they are a good team. I'm not worried about playing against their defense. I am, and I'm not, okay, so I'm worried about our defense against them, especially in our secondary.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
For me,
we need to do a little more endurance training in our defense.
A lot of guys need to, I don't know. Everything looked really sloppy this week. But my decision on taking Jefferson over McCaffrey was, McCaffrey to me, I just fear him being injured. He gets injured so much. I think last year was the first full season he played without injury.
Yeah.
So that's why
it's crazy to me that Kirk Cousins did so poorly and Jefferson still did so well.
That's the ideal situation for me, a Packers fan. I know.
I was just
I hope every week goes like that.
Oh my goodness. Me too. I mean,
yes.
We play them on Thursday, so do it again.
That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think that just like so over everybody being like the 49ers are going to win the Super Bowl
after week 1. I was like that all summer. I just kind of thought it was.
I don't think so. You know if I were to say who I think is winning the Super Bowl after week 1 is the Miami Dolphins.
I agree. I'm on the Dolphins train.
I can see it being a Dolphins 49ers Super Bowl.
So cool. That game. That game was probably the best game to watch
this week. Oh my God, it was exciting.
It was phenomenal. We had 2 TVs going. We had the Packers game here, and then our friends are Dolphins fans, so we set up a separate TV and watched the Dolphins game at the same time. And it was just, the energy was so cool. It was so intense. It was such a roller coaster ride of a game.
Oh, but it was great.
It was great. Tua looked fantastic. Tyreek Hill's insane. If you have that handcuff in fantasy, it's going to be a good year for you.
I had a chance to get Tyreek Hill in one of my leagues. I think it was my free league, and I was worried. I can't remember who I ended up taking instead, but I was just worried about Tua.
Yeah.
Especially after his preseason.
I agree. I heard something this morning that said he, trains, I can't say the word, jujitsu.
Oh, I can't say that.
Jiu-jitsu or something. So he learned how to, fall properly or take hits properly. Okay. And then he has a special helmet now.
Why don't they all have this helmet?
Agreed. I thought the same thing when I saw that.
I did a more protective hear what they were saying. Yeah, there's something in the middle top part of it. I did see that. Yeah, man, I wish I could have seen more of that game, but my eyes were just glued to the Eagles-Patriots game because that was turning into a train wreck, and I'm just like, don't do this to me, please. But, oh my goodness.
I know.
The Dolphins just have so much chemistry on their team.
They look really good. And let's not forget that
they look like a Super Bowl team.
They do. The Dolphins traveled out to Los Angeles last season. It was towards the end of the season. And they played, was it a Sunday night football game against the Chargers, and lost. And that was painful. They looked so sloppy. This team this year looked completely different.
The Chargers equally also looked really good,
They did. Eckler looked amazing. Yeah. Keenan Allen looked really good.
The Chargers are bumping up. That is one team that I am a little more positive on.
Absolutely.
Than I was last week, going off of week 1. They just put up a good fight. Unfortunately, I think that's going to be a lot of their season, though, is them just putting up a good fight and not really finishing.
Yeah.
And I also feel that way about the Bills. Just putting up a good fight, putting on a good show, and just not getting the job.
I think we both said last week, I know we both agreed that the Chiefs might fall off a little bit this season, but maybe the Bills will as well.
Yeah. I want to believe the Chiefs are going to fall off, but I'm also not
completely, but I'm not a little.
Yeah, I'm not going to hold on to that hope because just going off of Thursday night's game.
Yeah.
Everybody's being a little harsh on the Chiefs. And I think more credit should be given to the Lions than laughter at the Chiefs for losing to the Lions. Because the Lions are not the same Detroit Lions that they've been.
Brand new Lions.
Yeah.
That's what they keep saying.
I think that they just, because they also didn't play their best game, but they knew when to be at the right spot at the right time, and they just made it work for them.
Totally.
And I'm trying to be a little more, now that it's been a couple days since Sunday, with our Eagles game, I was just so, immediately after, I was not happy with the win. I'm happy we won, but I was kind of
didn't
disappointed.
feel satisfying.
It wasn't satisfying at all at first.
Yeah.
And I was just like, our defense looked terrible. Hurts just looked
Not
very
on,
off.
Not
it
sharp.
was weird. He
Yeah.
just did like so flat, no confidence. He kept throwing out of bounds when he had people wide open, like missing his passes. I'm worried. You know, I was talking about the off-season or preseason game that I saw with Mariota and how he was just like 5 yards short, 7 yards over. And Hurts was doing the same thing. And I'm like, is this our new offensive coach? Play calling?
It's too soon to worry about that, I think.
But that wasn't Hurts. Hurts was amazing at passing last year. He didn't really ever throw over by that margin.
Yeah.
That often. Every single pass except for maybe 3 or 4 were just like
you
so
also
off.
said to me that he looked like he was afraid to throw an interception.
Yeah.
Afraid to get tackled or hit.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it was raining. It was a really gross
That's
game.
another thing. All those games that were on the East Coast were messy.
Yeah. And you know, Mac Jones was also doing the same thing. And, you know,
Joe Burrow.
When I like picked apart the game a little bit more, what I noticed is that first of all, our play calling was just like backwards. I don't know what was going on. Like, we would try to pass and then do a run play when we were deep, like because we kept getting flags and like getting pushed back. And instead of just like trying to run first to get a little closer and then do a pass, we would do pass, and then on third down, think we're going to run 14 yards to get a first down.
So maybe it is something with the offensive coordinator.
It was weird.
That
and
is
then
different.
I mentioned to you too that I noticed like our offensive line, like when they're lining up, they're like shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, very condensed.
Right. And then when I was watching the Dallas Giants game, Dallas was like spread out more. And they still were protecting Dak. So I'm just like, why is our defense standing? You're giving Hurts no room to run laterally to get out of the way. Like, and you're pulling all those defenders into one spot instead of having them have to be spread out. And so that was very strange to me. I don't know, again, if it had to do with the ball, like, being wet and, like, the conditions and everything like that.
Absolutely. It could be.
There were so many weird things that, like, we just didn't look like the team leaving last season.
Right.
And so I was like really annoyed with our defense. I was just like, our defense is terrible. We're not covering people. But then I was like, you know what? The Patriots, which I give this to like Bill Belichick, like I think he just was like very strategic on his drives where he would like keep everything kind of short in the start and then have these deeper passes as you got closer to the end zone. And I think our defense wasn't playing bad. They were just getting really tired.
Yeah.
Because then, like, the touchdown passes, they were just wide open.
Interesting.
And I'm like, I think that we were just getting played.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with defense. Yeah, because we started out really great in the first quarter, and then second quarter was terrible.
Right.
Third quarter was a little bit better. Praise Jake Elliott and his golden leg. Because most of our points were from field goals, and we managed to hold on, which I'm also looking at now as a positive.
Right.
Before I was like, we barely even won that game, but I'm like, no, we held on to the lead. We
Win's
never lost the lead.
There you go. That's a win.
Not a bad.
That's how I felt in our game.
Yeah, not the ideal week one. Like
Same
the start of our game I thought was going to be how the Dallas game was when we got a field goal, I think, on our first drive, and then we had the pick six. And then the next drive, a fumble recovery, which turned into a touchdown. And I'm like, this is amazing. We're going to have such a good game. We're going to dominate this team. And then it got super close.
Yeah.
But we still pulled it off.
I hate butt clenchers. Like, I when they're over, they're way more gratifying when you get the win. But, man. Like, I thought, in the moment, it's terrible.
Especially when you're out at a bar and there's these obnoxious...
Oh, of course. You're getting everybody's commentary.
Bostonians or whatever they're called. They're the worst.
Boston fans are tough. I'm not gonna lie.
They're just so loud for no reason.
I'm sure they would say the same about you.
I'm not loud when I go out to the bar.
You're not, but I mean, like, you know, the rep that Philly fans have.
I wouldn't even say that Eagles fans are loud. They're just drunk.
That's fine.
And they're witty.
Although, you know who the drunkest football fans are? Packers.
Well, you guys are in, like, a beer town.
Yeah. Beers and brats.
And you're Northerners.
Yes.
So I can see that. But, Yeah, so I am, and it's funny because I was also expecting all this hate for the Eagles, like they're fakes and phonies and blah blah blah. But everybody still thinks that we're like the number 2 team.
Absolutely.
So all that happened was
I'm not worried at all about you.
It was originally Chiefs, Eagles, 49ers. Now it's just 49ers, Eagles, Chiefs.
Cowboys aren't in there?
They're number 4.
Okay.
I'm happy that more people aren't sold.
Yeah. I'm not sold yet.
I'm not either.
But I feel like I have heard a lot this week that we should be talking more about the Cowboys.
Who's saying that?
Just a lot of the sports media I listen to. Podcasts.
They're only saying that because it was the highest deficit.
Absolutely. I was really excited after our game. I was like, 38 points. We might be the highest scoring team this week. And then the stupid Cowboys had to go out and score 40.
They scored 2 more points than you did.
I know. Jordan Love's still not getting the love that he deserves.
Yeah, so we don't need to be talking about the Cowboys. Like, anything the media is talking about, I'm not talking about.
No, I agree.
Because
They're talking about Tom Brady taking over the Jets today. So, like, it's just all hype.
This is why we started this podcast, is because we're trying to not be this mainstream.
Totally. Just real opinions.
Yeah.
No fluff. No editing, obviously. I'm going to leave the martini spilling on my pants in this.
Yeah. What are we going to do? We do our podcast as a straight run through.
Yeah,
so whatever happens.
Organic. You like it or you hate it. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, there was something that I was going to lead into. Oh, so side note. I'm actually really excited about this. So I had talked to Christine before our game started, and I was like, this season I think I want to do a challenge for myself.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the challenge.
Each week, what I'm going to do is whatever the Eagles end up scoring, that's how many miles I have to run by the end of next Sunday.
A brave woman.
So we scored 25 points, so I have to run 25 miles this week. So far, I did a little over 3 miles yesterday, and then a little over 4.5. No, just under 4.5 miles today.
Also, if you don't live in Florida, you should know that it's 96 degrees outside.
It was insane. Oh, this is the other thing I needed to talk about. So, I tried to do my run. I try to start at 7 because 7 there's still a lot of shade in my neighborhood, and it's a little humid, but it's almost refreshing because it's like a cool, misty humidity. The sun is not up yet, and I'm old school. I have the plug-in headphones.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
I have the plug-in headphones, and I don't know. I have an iPhone, so I have to use the stupid adapter, and I don't know if my adapter is malfunctioning or if there's something going on with my headphones, and every time I plug them in, my music just goes haywire. Like, it fast forwards, and not in the way where it's like skipping to the next song. Like, it will like fast forward where you can hear it like, and then it'll rewind, and it'll just keep doing that over and over with the song. And I'm like, and then it'll summon Siri, and I'm just like,
no,
what is going on? I cannot be running 4 miles with this going on. And so I had to, luckily I do have a pair of Bluetooth headphones, which I hate using Bluetooth headphones because you have to charge them. And luckily, like, I don't know how these ended up being right by my front door with the charger part connected to it, but they were there. So I charged them, and then I went to the barn first, and then I went back to do my run, and it's 9:30 by the time I'm starting my run.
95 degrees outside.
It was probably 95, 96, 97, and like,
sucks.
I'm just dying out there. I have crazy tan lines today. My skin just felt so hot.
It feels like your skin is like radiating and boiling outside.
It was
right
terrible. And like, I do a mix of, most of the time when I jog, it's more terrain. Like, I run on a dirt road or grass. And then, but when I do a long loop, I have a path that like it's perfect for doing like more than 4 miles, and half of it's on concrete, and there was no shade.
It just like reflects the sun.
Yeah.
Like,
it's, I was telling you, like,
I
felt like I was sweating boiling water. I'm just like, this is terrible. I can't. And I ended up walking the last mile. I'm like, I can't keep running, but right now I'm at 7.5 miles.
I love this challenge. I wish I would be like, me too, I'll do it too, but I'm not running. I'm not built to run. I definitely strength train, but anyway, the headphones thing.
Yes. What did you have to say?
So I recently got AirPods, and I was very against AirPods, and my husband's like, no, we need them, and we're going to Europe soon. So he found out that if you have AirPods and you use the Google Translate, you're translating language in real time. So we both bought some. But I saw Aaron Rodgers come out like I guess there was all this shit on the internet about Aaron Rodgers still having wired headphones like you. And I was like, man,
what's wrong with that?
You make so much money. You can't afford AirPods or whatever. So he came out and said, that can't be good. Like, you're giving yourself brain cancer. Like, having all the, like, I don't even know, like, wavelengths. Like,
it's the
transmit through your head with
the same thing, though.
With Bluetooth as opposed to, like, direct hardlined in. So now I'm, like, paranoid.
No, okay.
I love the AirPods, though. I am team AirPods. I was thinking, Allie, you need these. They're insane.
I don't think what he's saying, there's any
Aaron
truth
Rodgers.
behind it. Because the same energy or frequency or waves or whatever is also traveling up your wire. If anything, you're probably more exposed. If you're talking
on your iPhone or your cell phone, how are you not... I guess maybe people are very plugged in with the AirPods. Like, some people wear them all day, every day. They're phenomenal.
I don't think that's a thing. No, sorry, Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
You lost me on that one. Like, most of the stuff you believe
You gotta try my AirPods. They're crazy. We have, like, the newer ones, the Pro ones, and, like, they move. Like, when I first started listening to them, I tried, like, I think I had, like, Post Malone on or something, and, like, there was, like, a rap part, and if you, like, turn a certain way, it sounds like they're, like, talking in your ear. So it was, like, I thought someone was behind me.
Weird. I don't know if I like that feature.
So you can turn that on,
okay.
yeah.
So
it's phenomenal.
The other reason why I just
But anyway,
can't
that's besides the point.
Why I can't do AirPods is, like, this ear, I don't know if it's, like, something is shaped differently in it, and, like, headphones constantly fall out of this ear. So
no, I have that problem with my piercings in my ear.
AirPods are just like, I don't see how they would work for me, and I also just
you gotta try them.
I just like
I was not on board with this at all, but I kept thinking of you. I'm like, this is great. She would love this. She could listen to, like, football games while she's tattooing. Like, it would be.
I'm old school.
Magic.
I love the plug-in headphones.
But I think it's also a beautiful thing that you're, like, a very traditional person. Like, that's one of the things I love about you most. They don't make them like Allie anymore. They don't.
We talked about it earlier. I'm at heart an 89-year-old man.
Yes, and
I might even be 90 by now. Yeah. But yeah, so that was my journey. My goal by the end of this.
How many miles?
What? How many have I ran so far? 7.5.
How many miles do you think you'll end up running by the end of the season?
Hopefully a lot. That means the Eagles scored a lot.
And what if they go all the way to the Super Bowl again?
I'll keep going.
You'll be running a lot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. I'll have to figure out what to do after football season, but, like...
Let us know if you want to join the challenge.
Yeah, if you want to do...
Join Allie, because I'm not doing it.
Yeah, if you want to, like, for your team. It's just fun. My sister ended up deciding that she's going to do it, and she texted me yesterday. She's like, I did 7 miles today. I was like, I almost said...
That's okay. I've sent shit a lot.
I was like, how could she steal my thunder and then run 7 miles in one day? Come to find out, she walked some of it.
Accumulating her,
yeah, she walked some of it on her job site, and I'm only counting, like, workout miles.
Okay, that's impressive.
Yeah, so I think she said she still did close to 5, maybe even over 5 miles, like, working out, and she's like, I did walk most of it, but still, in this heat, it's
insane.
Oh my
5
goodness.
feels like 500 in this heat.
But can we really say that Florida is really hot? Because everywhere I feel
everything
like it's
is
hot
sizzling.
right now.
Everything is sizzling.
Yeah. So, but my goal, hopefully, maybe by our last episode, I'll be like 30 pounds lighter.
She'll just, like, pull up her shirt.
You guys won't even recognize me. But anyway, okay. So where should we go next? Before we go into these, should we go over the results of our matchups?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I did terrible.
It's a new season, baby.
Man,
I'm gonna win matchups this year.
You know, I think that I just have this new...
Where's the chalk?
Oh, it's in the bag. I just have this... I want to be more risky. I want to be Josh Allen this year. So, like,
that's how I felt I was last year, and it did not pay off.
I just making bad
let's
decisions.
not forget you're not wearing your bra right now.
I can't give any more satisfaction to Cowboys fans after this weekend.
So I'm gonna
sorry.
get something for your bra for another time.
Okay.
And add to it.
I'm gonna keep doing this strategy of going with my wild card gut over like who the logical winner is.
Okay.
Because I just want to believe that I see something that other people don't see, and that probably is like something I will regret at the end of the season.
Allie,
I need a longer name.
I'm just a little bit drunk.
I also think that's not halfway.
That is definitely not halfway. You got 3/4 of this board, and I got like 1/4 of this board. So I'm gonna redo this. You keep going.
basically, I got 7 out of 16 right, and you did 11, which also is really impressive just in general that you got 11 correct.
I know.
Do you want to just do kind of like sum ups of like things? I'll go over like each game.
Yeah,
okay, so
absolutely.
first we had the Chiefs. I guess we kind of talked about the Chiefs.
We did.
Already.
We
did you have
talked about
anything
it.
else to say about that?
I think I just kind of wanted to comment on like the Kadarius Toney thing. Like obviously it was like he played an awful game, but I don't think that man deserved the bullying that he got on the internet.
You know, I think it's just because he's on the Chiefs.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like, I'm not going to lie. I laughed at some of the memes, but then when you see people, like, going haywire or, like, being so mean to him on Twitter or X or whatever it's called now, it sucks. Like, people have
Twitter's
off
called
days.
X now?
Yeah, it's so
Weird.
stupid.
I don't like that.
I don't either. It sucks. Like, don't bully people. We've all had bad days at work. Come on.
He's going to have a really good week, 1 week.
You think he's going to come back?
I don't think he's ever going to play as bad as he did that day.
No.
Like,
I think what I can say about that game was, like, I think it finally hit me that how important Travis Kelce is to that offense. Like, that offense is Mahomes and Kelce.
Isn't this big superstar everybody
it's
says
Kelce?
he is? Yeah.
100%.
I've been saying that for years, I feel
Crazy
like.
how
Like,
important.
I'm not sold on this whole Mahomes being the new Tom Brady. Because you take away one weapon and Tom Brady would have still won that game.
Oh, yeah. I think Tom Brady always has that kind of, like, fighting in him. Like, he just knows
He's just very smart on
He
the
knows how to
field.
win a game. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think
like,
Mahomes
it's kind of
is just...
majestic.
Mahomes is a great quarterback. I'm not taking that away from him. But I just think that, like, I don't think he's as great as everybody. Like, I don't think the next 10 years are just going to be Chiefs.
You don't think it's going to be a dynasty?
I mean, it already is a dynasty, though. Yeah? I think there's other... No, I guess not. I think the dynasty ends this year and next year.
Ooh.
And then they just become normal.
You should be doing this.
They become normal.
There's a reason that martini glass just broke on me. That was the universe. That was my sign from the universe.
I'm going to also make our names a little
Listen
smaller.
to signs from the universe. You are drunk. Stop drinking.
You're at home.
I'm at home. It's Tuesday afternoon. Let me drink.
So, yeah, I also... What was I going to say? There was something... No,
about
that was
the dynasty?
It's just about Mahomes. Like, I think this really kind of... I mean, we'll see how he does this week.
Yeah.
You know, because will
Who do they
Kelsey
play
be
again?
back?
It's a good matchup.
It's not. I think the Rams. Oh, no, the 49ers play the Rams. They play the Jags.
I like it.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
And you know what's annoying is part of me wanted... Yes.
Ooh.
Part of me wanted to go with the Lions, but I was just like, I'm going to look stupid. And then stupid me goes with the Steelers over the 49ers.
It's okay.
So we watched Red Zone for 1 o'clock games. I do not like watching Red Zone.
I know you don't.
I feel like I missed so much stuff.
Also, side note, it's kind of crazy that guy does like 9 straight hours and doesn't use the bathroom. I did Google this, and I think he's gone to the bathroom once over the whole time.
Why doesn't he have another person that, like,
I don't know,
does that with him?
And he talks constantly, so we both know that when you're talking constantly, you need to drink. Anyway, Red Zone. You don't like Red Zone. I enjoy it, but I agree. There is something to be said about watching a full game.
I just feel like I missed so much. And then, I have no idea what happened in the 49ers, or I'm sorry, not the Commanders and Arizona game, except for when the ref got taken out on the sideline and then the chains got taken out. Like, that's all they showed me on Red Zone.
The chain gang.
I kept seeing the annoying Vikings and Baker Mayfield game, which shocked me. And Mike Evans, I thought he was off the Bucks.
No, he's waiting for a new contract.
I thought there was some stuff about him that he was going somewhere else.
No,
and nobody wanted
he wants
him.
a new contract. So there is something to be said about contract guys. Like, guys waiting for a contract, they just perform.
Yeah.
You know? So
I think that was a fluke, though.
I don't know. George is like so about the Bucks. He's like, this is going to be Baker Mayfield.
I'm sorry,
here.
but did you see?
And Sam Howell.
Did you see George's score for this week in comparison to everybody else? And he didn't even have Aaron Rodgers.
No, but I'm going to need to see
it was
that
like
after
79
so I can...
points.
I think he did better than me still.
No,
I think
you had 80 something.
No, maybe I ended up with 90 or something.
Yeah, no.
Fantasy,
he's in last place in our league.
Fantasy was kind of a shit show.
I know.
Week.
T. Higgins 0 points, DG 0 points, DeAndre Swift 0.8.
But, like I said before, this week was about the defense. Every year, if you look at offensively, week 1 every year over the last 3 to 4 years, it's declined. Like the number of touchdowns have declined, the numbers of yardage has declined.
Really? Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
See, you're not drunk.
Oh no, I'm drunk.
Okay. Anyway, so I don't really have a lot to say about most of these games. Browns Bengals. Can't really.
Interesting.
Okay, I feel like I called that.
Yeah.
Like Burrow always starts out
slow.
The Browns? I went with the Browns. That's the only one I got over.
I didn't remember that. But Burrow, like you were gonna say, the Bengals come out flat a lot.
Yes, it was.
I'm not
also
worried about that team.
Really rainy, nasty game.
Terrible weather.
So. The guy we do not speak of did actually really good.
I know.
Which is
hard
annoying.
to cheer for him.
Nick Chubb did good, though, too.
Nick Chubb.
Which I never saw Nick Chubb do anything. I kept seeing that other guy, Ford.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, where Nick Chubb is getting me points and Red Zone is not showing me these points happening.
I felt like I never saw that game on Red Zone. Granted, what was the final score?
24-3, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
How often was anybody in the Red Zone?
And then we had the Ravens. See, I have everybody circled. Let me go back one page. We have the Ravens and the Texans.
Ravens.
There was
Lamar
a minute
did not
where it
even
was
look good.
getting really shaky with the Ravens.
Yeah.
OBJ actually looked really good for his few
he has
involvements.
to be.
Yeah.
If it doesn't happen this year, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, he's getting up there too.
He is.
And he's probably never going to be 100% who he was after this injury, and then taking another year off because he's looking for a team.
Right.
So, Say Flowers did really good. That was pretty cool.
One of my fantasy sweethearts.
I think the Ravens are still also kind of getting was Mark Andrews out?
Yes, he was injured.
So
we're all on tight end hell right now.
I'm not really saying that game really showed anything with the Ravens. I still think they're going to end up being a lot better as the season goes. They, in my opinion, I think are probably going to win the division.
I was thinking a lot after our episode 2 weeks ago when we both made our Super Bowl picks and you took the Ravens as one of your division winner picks.
Top 4?
Yeah, and I was like, you know what? I love that.
Yeah.
I feel like that team will go a far distance.
Yeah, I just think that they are bonding in a different way than the Dolphins are.
I agree. It seems like they get along really well.
They're happy. Yeah.
There's some good
they just
energy.
have a few kinks they need to work out, but I'm still
worried.
I'm not selling out on the Ravens just yet either. Then we went over Bucks Vikings, Panthers Falcons. Those are two teams that are also
I wanted nothing to do with that matchup. When we were trying to pick who would win.
We both went with the Panthers.
Yeah.
The score I think was pretty close too.
It was. And I just felt like that was
pretty much won that game.
Very even playing field, both those teams. Yeah, Algier really was the star of that game, but we saw little glimpses of Bijan, and I'm really stoked.
I did think Bryce Young looked pretty good.
I do too. Yeah, I do too.
Sanders wasn't as involved, but I'm still
more than I thought he would be, though.
Yes, and I'm still thinking he's going to have an explosive season this year. So
I think he's one of those that's going to warm up and kind of go off too.
Side note, so Cass, her Aaron Rodgers situation, and I have on my bench Jared Goff, and this is the league we're all in together, and I'm just like, Cass, I'll trade you. I know you need a quarterback. I'm like, I'll trade you Goff and DeAndre Swift for Miles Sanders. And she's like, I'm thinking she's going to reject this trade. I texted her, wait, does that mean I'm colluding? Because I'm like,
maybe a little bit.
Whatever.
No, you're not colluding.
Okay.
You'd be like, if you were colluding, you'd be like, I'll send you Jared Goff just to help you out. But no, you're kind of like,
I want Miles Sanders on my team.
That's
I'm
not
weak on running backs and tight ends in that league. So, I'm thinking she's going to be like, are you serious? Miles Sanders, no, he's one of the 3 things I have going for my team. And she's like, that's not a fair trade for you. And I'm just like, did you not see that sweet. Miles Sanders, that DeAndre Swift, he maybe had 2 carries that game.
He's another one I think he's going to.
I didn't realize that Kenny Gainwell is our starting running back.
Who would have thought that? If you didn't
I thought I saw that somewhere, but then like when I looked again, it said DeAndre Swift was our starting.
I wouldn't worry about DeAndre Swift. I think kind of like the Bijan Robinson thing, kind of like the Jahmyr Gibbs thing. Like we saw little bits of them, but as like the weeks go on, it's gonna get better and better. And like holy moly, like it's gonna be crazy with Bijan and Gibbs and Swift.
I thought he did pretty good though, Bijan.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Breece Hall.
Those guys just look different. They look different. Like that's like they're like a smaller, leaner, more athletic running back. Man, I'm excited.
They're fast. They're speedy little guys.
Yeah.
So, I think that we will see more wins from the Panthers. I'm not really sold on the Falcons. I think that was just...
Good. Don't be sold at least till week 3. We play them next week, so I
don't think I'll ever be sold on the Falcons. I don't see them going to the...
No, I don't think so either.
Playoffs.
I kind of felt the way about the Saints, too.
You weren't impressed by them, but I
wasn't... But then there's like a little bit of me that's like, this team could go all the way because the division's kind of weak.
Yeah, but I also was kind of... I enjoyed the Saints.
Of course.
Like
I think they got to involve like Jamal a little bit more.
They played the Titans.
The Titans.
I think the Saints were going to see a lot of growth from him.
I do too. I agree.
You didn't think Derek Carr did that good, but I thought he did as good as he could for a week one on a new team.
I wanted to see Olave get more involved. Where was Olave? Olave wasn't there. He's one of my fantasy sweethearts, but didn't see much of that. Didn't see much Jamal. You know? Would have liked to see more of that.
They just did the power rankings on my NFL app. So we had the Falcons. Oh, I already said that. Cardinals and Commanders. Like I said, didn't really get to see much of that game. Thankfully, the Commanders won, so we're in a survival league.
Yes.
There's the pot is $4K.
I know.
Winner
4,300 or something.
Yeah. So we got to figure out what we're gonna do for this week.
I thought you were gonna say we got to figure out what we're gonna do with this $4,300.
I already know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be paying off my bills.
Me too.
Go on a little trip, but
me too.
Yeah. So I went with the Commanders. So that game was very stressful to me.
It was. It was way closer than I ever anticipated. Also, the Cardinals quarterback is a little bit scary.
He was on the Titans last year, wasn't he? Wait, was he on the Titans or the Texans? I think he was on the Titans.
Where are his eyebrows?
I don't know, but
I don't like that. Even the picture is scary. I like screenshot. I was gonna send it to you.
I think he was You didn't see him playing last season? I'm pretty sure he took over.
Maybe I just blocked it out of my mind because it's nightmare fuel.
I can't remember if it was the Titans or the Texans that he was on, but he was on one of those blue and red teams, and like
Fair.
I remember he took over halfway through, and like he's not okay. So I think his name is Dobbs.
Yes,
Dobbs.
Yep.
So he's not. Also, we put the light way too close because I'm looking like I don't have eyebrows in this video.
I have eyebrows. They're lopsided.
They're not lopsided. Stop. So that's not the power rankings. He's not like great.
They did a lot better than I thought.
So also
that was close.
He didn't even know all the names of people on his team. Like they just got him into Arizona. They have a new head coach, our former defense guy. Right. They did better than I thought they were going to do.
Me too. That was uncomfortably close.
Yeah, but
especially
thankfully Washington pulled it off.
Oh, thank God. We got to figure out who we're going with this week.
Yeah, this is a tougher week, I think.
A tougher week.
Anyway, then we had the Jags Colts. Okay, I actually have a lot to say about this game because I did see most of this was on Red Zone. So
great game.
Great matchup.
Great game.
I am happy the Colts are finally okay. And I know of all the drafted quarterbacks like in the first round, like this guy,
Anthony Richardson.
Thank you. He was probably the least favorite. Like everybody was like kind of just like he's not that great. I thought he did the best of the three of them.
So athletic. I honestly like after Sunday was over, I kind of like was browsing the waiver wire and I was looking to pick him up, but everywhere he was taken. Yeah, I think he's gonna run a lot. He throws a lot too.
Yeah.
Colts look better than I thought as well.
Yeah, but they have our old offensive coach.
There you go. And I think if Jonathan Taylor comes back, that team might be someone.
That guy is great at play calling. Yeah, so I was really impressed with the Colts. Equally impressed with the Jags. Yes. Dougie P all the way. He's looking fit. He's looking in shape.
Yeah, Dougie P.
Trevor Lawrence. Like, I love it.
Yes. I love
Calvin
Etienne.
Ridley.
Calvin
I love
Ridley.
It. I love everything about
fantasy
Jacksonville.
Sweetheart. Me too.
I love everything about Jacksonville
you know
right
how,
now.
Like, last week you were like, are the Jets your AFC team? Like, I think I love the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's not to love about this team?
I think that might be it. With Rodgers gone, I'm like, they might be my other team.
Yeah. I just was so impressed. So there was one shaky
Jags.
moment of that game, and I do need to go back. Wait, no, we haven't actually talked about the Saints yet. Okay, so did you notice that one play? Okay, I'm going to go off on a tangent altogether. I'm going to just like lay them all out. The sloppy refs with the whistle blowing. So there was...
The whistle... I will say, like, from the get-go, I think the refs weren't terrible. I didn't think it was a terrible first week one.
With the flags, yes.
Yeah,
but
I feel like it was not
crazy...
There wasn't many penalties.
Yeah, so the first one I'm going to bring up is the Derek Carr fumble, forward pass, and then it was picked up by somebody on the Titans who ended up running all the way to get a touchdown, but they blew the whistle early. But then they ended up ruling the call as there was forward motion, so it was an incomplete pass.
There was a lot of that.
And I'm like, how though? Can you say that? Because like in the view, I wish I could just grab. Like, it was like, can you see like this?
Yeah.
Like that's not in your hand. That's next to your hand. That's a fumble.
I see what you mean.
That's not his arm was still going forward, but with no ball. Like,
yeah.
So I think that should have been a Tennessee touchdown. And it wasn't. They took it back, and it was second down or third down. So, but also, regardless, why are the refs not letting the play out?
That always frustrates me. Yeah. Especially, like, coming from a team that had Aaron Rodgers, and he was, like, famous for, like, them, like, letting him,
Yeah.
I can't articulate what I'm trying to say.
Oh, like when he's like getting pushed, but they're like,
or like when someone's like offsides and they just let the play like go and
you know what I mean? Like
let it happen. Just let it happen, and I'm a fan of that.
Yeah,
I'm a fan of like loving seeing what happens in that moment. Let them play football.
I don't know if it's a false start or offsides. I do think you should blow the whistle because why risk somebody getting injured for a dead play?
I mean, I see that side of it too.
So on the flip side of that was the one in the Jags-Colts game where Trevor Lawrence went down. Again, I thought this was a fumble. The ball, well, no, because I guess if it was a fumble, this is why this happened. Okay, so this does make sense. But it was just weird. It was just a weird play. So he fumbles the ball, it bounces, and then this guy on the Jags just catches it and stands there with the ball because he thought the play was over.
Okay.
And then somebody on the Colts just literally walked up and grabbed the ball and ran and got a touchdown. And that counted.
Wow. Okay.
And I was just kind of like, I think that was a case where, like, they should have stopped the play.
Yeah.
And
a free play. That's what I was trying to get to.
Yeah.
A free play was the term I was looking for.
Yeah.
Sorry, it just popped in my head.
So, like, it was just, like, really... I mean, it didn't matter in the end because the Colts still lost. But, like, if that had been the winning touchdown for the game, I just, like, that would have been so annoying.
It always sucks when the result of a game is on, like, a bad call.
But I don't know if it was a bad call. Like, I don't know what...
I can't really say. I don't know enough about, like, the intricacies of the rules
I guess,
to really make fair judgment.
The player maybe thought that it was an incomplete pass and there was forward motion. I don't remember how Trevor Lawrence went down. But the guy was also just concerned about Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
And I think that...
And that's going to happen a
doesn't,
lot,
like... I don't know. It was just weird. It was, like, a once-in-a-lifetime thing. And, like, even the... I don't know if it was the red zone guy or who it was, but was like... Yeah, this guy will never have another pick six like that ever. But it was also like, you're proud of that pick six. You literally just like basically stole an old woman's purse and ran away. Like the kid was just like holding the ball like this. And he just like ran up and grabbed it and ran and nobody followed him. But whatever. I mean, technically the play wasn't dead. So that happened. Then in the Eagles-Patriots game, we had this amazing, finally a deep pass to A.J. Brown.
Finally. I was waiting for him to do something.
So, I think this is a catch.
Okay.
100%. Because he catches it, and it's up against his body.
All right.
2 feet in.
Okay.
As soon as he passed out of bounds, it did that.
Bobbles.
Yes.
Okay.
And they called it an incomplete catch. Well, no, at the time they called it a completed catch. We snapped the ball, and then Belichick throws a challenge.
And what was the result of the challenge?
An incomplete pass.
Interesting, but he was inbounds. I'd have to see it.
So he was in.
I also
the
feel...
ball literally bobbled like that much. I don't think that's
So he didn't have control.
How is that not control? The ball was not going anywhere.
I do have to say that I do think there are certain coaches and certain quarterbacks that they give a lot more leniency to.
Oh, we talked about that with... Yeah. We'll get into that one too. Yeah.
So... Belichick might be one. I'm not trying to be biased here. I'm not trying to be biased.
And the other crazy thing about this was they never once replayed when he threw the challenge flag.
I noticed that a lot too with like certain calls this week. We didn't see a replay.
Yeah.
It happened in our game with certain things.
Yes.
I was just like, hello.
Like what was the game? Was it the game I was watching with you with the Jets where like, I don't know if it was with the Jets or the Bills, but like they showed a replay and then threw a flag and showed the replay, but we didn't know what the flag was for.
I think
and
it
then
was
they said what it was, but didn't show, like they didn't explain. Yeah. Like, I like seeing like what the flag is and then seeing it again. So I can
let's
look
see
for
it again.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't think that this was, and then you made the comment, well, Josh Allen is like
a sweetheart.
Yes.
One of the sweethearts of the league.
Yeah, so he's going to get his way.
I hate to think that way, but it's, I mean, I do notice it.
Yeah, and I think that, like, I just thought it very suspicious that, like, because what happened was, like, they showed the replay of A.J. Brown, and then, like, they showed, like, Belichick being, like, annoyed, his face. I can't really remember, but, like, when they blew the whistle, Hurts was already getting ready to pass the ball. Like, it wasn't just, like, snap.
Right.
It was,
or
like,
getting in formation.
He already, like, backpedaled a few steps and was, like, getting ready to throw the ball, and then they just, like, all ran in his way.
Yeah.
Like, then they were running on, the refs were then running onto the field. And they never, ever showed a replay of
like, when he actually threw the flag.
Yes.
Yeah. Who knows?
He wasn't talking to a ref, like, nothing.
Mm.
And we didn't even do we had to run all the way down the field, too.
Yeah.
And, like, we didn't do a quick snap off. Like, it was just so annoying.
It is annoying.
It ended up not mattering, but that could have been one of those things that like, caused
yes, absolutely.
And also, it still looked like a catch to me because his 2 feet were in bounds, and he had the ball with
he controlled the ball
air,
in bounds.
And then when he went out of bounds, it, like, bounced a little.
Interesting.
And I'm just like, I don't even think that with the bounce, like, it wasn't like this. It was literally his hands are like this, and it was, like, bouncing in, like, the cage. He was not going to not have control of that ball. And I just think that there needs to be, like, a little more, like, the ball looked secure to me.
Right. I don't know.
Just saying. And then the other one we had was the Josh Allen forward progress.
I can't say a lot about that. I thought he was in bounds.
My thing about that and why I didn't think that he was in bounds is because his toe was on the line, and when your toe is on the line out of bounds, you're out of bounds. So why is your toe being on the line of scrimmage safe?
There was something about it this morning, too, I saw.
And the ball was past the line. Yeah. I think that's a thing that should, like, just how a touchdown matters where the ball is. Well, I guess it does matter where your elbow is. But your feet could be in, and then the ball could go across, and as long as your knee's not down. Yeah. His knees, elbows, everything was past the line. His toe was on the line. And normally that would be out of bounds.
Any Bills fans? Anybody who watched the game last night?
I mean, it didn't matter because they still lost.
Yeah, it was ruled a touchdown.
But again, it was just, like, kind of annoying.
Yeah.
But that's what I had to say. So back to our matchups. So that was the Jags-Colts. Yeah, all about the Jags. Then we had the 49ers-Steelers. It was really annoying. That. 2 things were annoying about this game. One, I have Kittle, and out of 30 points, he only gave me, like, a 30-point game. I only had 3.5 points from that man.
He will do more, but I have to say, as a Kittle owner last year...
You know what he'll do more of? Getting injured and being out. That's what.
But I also told you my theory on this.
Until
he's frustrating. He'll have good games, and then he'll have, like, 3 weeks of just, like, 4 points. As a previous Kittle owner, I kind of stayed away from the 49ers this season because they have so many weapons there that, like, it spreads the points out too much.
All I need is Kittle to have, like, 3 or 4 catches.
But we're all in tight end hell right now. We are all in it. I do not care who you are.
Was there any tight... Oh, you know who did good? Hayden Hurst on the Panthers. Yes,
Hayden Hurst. I almost picked him up.
He had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I almost picked him up off the waiver wire. However...
I did too, but I was worried about Bryce Young. Yeah.
Right, we don't know who he's going to be yet.
I think that was a fluke too. Like, I wouldn't go running to the bank and thinking, like, you're about to cash this huge tight end check.
Right.
Because I don't think Hayden Hurst is going to keep...
No, I don't think it's going to be like that all the time. Like it's just, that's how it goes.
He might be a good safety net to have, like, but I don't think that he's, like, Travis Kelce comes back, like, he's still going to be number one.
Hopefully, which
I thought he was supposed to play this week.
They said it's looking possible. But I'm not convinced yet. We'll know more tomorrow.
Or he'll be playing at least by week 3. What was his actual injury? A bone bruise?
No, yeah, he has a bone bruise, but they first said it was like a hyperextended knee. But then they also said it was a bone
If he comes back this week, he's not going to be out there that often.
You don't think?
No.
It's Kelce.
Hyperextension is probably like a 2-week thing.
I never do this. I took... Kelce first in our fantasy league. I was the 8th pick, and I was kind of going back and forth on this the whole time. I'm like, should I do this? Oh my God. And I did it. And literally, our draft was like at, 10 p.m.?
Yeah.
9 or 10 p.m. on, what was it,
Tuesday?
Monday night. Tuesday morning, the news broke that he hyperextends his knee. First time he'll ever set a game in 10 years. That would just be my luck.
He'll be back.
I hope so. I mean, everybody's in tight end hell. Mark Andrews is hurt. Darren Waller had a hamstring. He played, but not very well. But that was the Giants, so. Yeah. So it was just,
I didn't even watch barely any of that game. So, like, I don't even know I don't really care to know how the defense on the Cowboys scored so many touchdowns. It was just. How many touchdowns did they score? I am curious.
I don't know.
Like 3 or 4?
It had to have been.
It was 40 points, man.
Crazy. Also,
that's
prime time football right now, like, they have to, Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football has to be pretty bumped. Like, that was a blowout on Sunday. Like, that's not very fun to watch. Well, for Cowboys fans, it's fun. But, like, everybody else, that's a boring game.
I thought
Monday night, we thought we were going to see Rodgers. It ended up
that game was exciting.
It ended up being a good game. But, like, completely different from what we all expected.
Yeah, so that was one thing that annoyed me, though, with the 49ers game was Kittle. The other thing that annoyed me was, like, that was the only game. So that became... They were up, I think, it was 30-0 in by halftime.
Yeah,
then they never scored in the second half of the game.
I don't know. I was watching Red Zone, so I don't.
That's remember. What I was watching. But was it 30-0? Maybe it wasn't. They had to have scored at least one more time. But regardless, that game was like so far gone, and they kept showing the 49ers in Red Zone, and I'm like, great, they're about to score again. Like, I really don't care.
Right.
Like, I'd rather watch one of the other 7 games that are going on right now.
We barely saw any Browns-Bengals. I wanted to see that. It felt like, I honestly felt like I was watching majority Colts-Jags, but it was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
That was exciting. Yeah. Then we had the Titans and the Saints.
Derrick Henry.
I think the Saints won. Yeah, Derrick Henry looks like he's coming back to himself.
He's always awesome. I feel like
I love watching him
every year
play.
I'm always... I don't know why I do this, but I'm always like, Derrick Henry in fantasy, and then he's just so good.
He is very good.
He's so consistent. He's so fast. Like, what am I doing? And DeAndre
yeah, but
Hopkins
there's so many other good running backs, though, too. Like,
yeah. But
that's what it is.
Is Tannehill going to, like, fall off this year maybe a little bit? I think so.
I mean, that was a close game. The Titans almost won.
It was close.
You weren't sold on Derek Carr. I was
no.
happy with his performance. I think that team is going to keep...
They could be a sleeper. They could be a dark horse.
I think they're going to keep moving upward.
I do too. And especially when, like, Kamara comes back, I feel like that'll only be good, really great.
Right.
Michael Thomas had a good game.
Yeah.
Better than Olave.
And sometimes that's just it. Like, you're just connecting with a certain person on a certain day, and, like,
absolutely.
Like, Olave still did great. He got me in my daily, like, 13 points. Yeah. So that's still good.
I want Olave touchdowns.
Yeah, he didn't have any touchdowns, I don't think. And then our 4 o'clock games, we had the Raiders-Broncos. Couldn't tell you what happened, except that the Raiders won.
Yeah,
How was Devontae Adams?
I literally do not know.
Yeah.
I did not see a speck of that game.
Yeah. We had the Eagles-Patriots, which we've been talking about. Rams-Seahawks, that was a surprise.
Yes. And I said earlier to you, like, it's interesting to me that no one's really talking about the Rams right now. Granted, there's a lot going on to talk about, but the Rams played really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And won that game.
I guess what it is like maybe people just also aren't really thinking the Seahawks are going to be a big threat with all the injuries they have.
Maybe.
Apparently that happened, though. There was a lot of injuries made, like Tyler Lockett's out now.
Really? I didn't even see that.
Yeah, let me see.
They said Kenneth Walker was limited going into that game, although he said that he was questionable, like, early in the week, and then he did end up playing, and I think he was pretty consistent, but, like, no massive plays. I know Metcalf had a touchdown.
I'm just looking up to see what his injury was.
I didn't even know that.
While I look this up, we forgot to talk about Dobbins, if you want to kind of
another
cover
one
that.
With Achilles injuries are very hot this week.
Weird.
Well, you know, like, I was listening to a podcast this morning, and they say that this is kind of like normal in week 1. Coming out without practicing a lot or starting, you're getting a lot of soft tissue injuries in the first, like, 2 weeks. And then you'll notice in week 3 to 4, you just get a lot of injuries altogether. And then, like, the injuries kind of fall off for a few weeks. And then, like, when the fatigue kind of sets in from the season, people get injured again.
Did you have any injuries in your game?
I mean, we just have a lot of hamstrings. Like, Aaron Jones, after he scored.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's had hamstrings, but that's, you know, tendon, soft tissue type things. Aaron Jones, like, held his hamstring when he went into the end zone for the touchdown, but they showed him, like, on the sideline. They had, like, the drone go over him, and he's, like, waving. He looked fine, you know. Yeah. I think it was
they're just trying to,
cramping.
We had 2 injuries.
That's right. We had a big one.
Yeah, we had Nakobe Dean with a foot injury. They're thinking he's going to be out for a few weeks, but I don't think it's, like, anything that...
super serious?
No. I mean, it is. Obviously, he's out for 3 weeks. But it's, like, he'll be back.
Yeah.
And then we had Bradbury, concussion. I know. Concussion for Bradbury. And then also, like, something happened with his mouth.
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah. I don't know if it was his mouth or his nose.
Maybe it's, like, a cautionary thing.
Because it was a head injury.
Yeah,
I think that's what it is.
They're just very...
And we have a short week. We play Thursday. So definitely expecting to not see Bradbury, which is so stressful because we're going against Jefferson. Our secondary is our weakest part of our defense. We're already, like, kind of limited with the McPherson injury in the preseason. And now we don't have Bradbury. Like, we have this guy, Jobin, who is, I guess, like... Sirianni's, like, optimistic about, but I'm just like, ugh.
I know.
Ugh.
The Vikings didn't look scary, though. But again, it is week 1. We really can't. We have to take everything with a grain of salt right now.
Yeah.
But they didn't look very good.
One thing I did want to mention that surprised me was we only had 1 sack.
Yeah.
And it was Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
Our rookie that, like, everybody kind of slept on in the draft. Yeah. And, like, he's, like... I remember when we drafted him, he's like, I'm going to show everybody that they made a mistake not taking me. And, like, already has his first sack in the NFL. Yeah. So the only one of the game on a team that dominated in sacks last season. But anyway, back to this. So Lockett's injury is a concussion. So not super crazy. No. I mean, it sucks that he had a concussion, but it's not like, so he'll probably miss 1 week.
Yeah, at most.
Well, don't you have to do 10 days for a concussion?
Is it 10 days? I know they have, like,
a
specific protocol, but...
Yeah. Dolphins Charger. We kind of went over that, but just...
Phenomenal game.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill, man. That guy is insane.
You have the Tua Tyreek, and you might win your league this year.
Insane. Yeah. Oh, my God.
Although,
what an athlete.
I was thinking last night, like, after the whole Aaron Rodgers thing happened with the Jets, like, part of me feels my conspiracy side, which is not a very big side of me, but it's in there. Like... Are there some franchises that are just kind of cursed? And then, like, I thought in my head, I was like, Dolphins are kind of one of them. Like, I hate to put that energy out there, but, like, I feel like they always have, like, a good thing going, and then, like, something kind of happens and, like, derails the whole season. I hope not, because I really want the Dolphins to do well.
I don't think their season got super derailed last year. They still went to round 2
they went
in
to
the
playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I hope not. I really want them to do well.
Yeah. Then we had the Packers-Bears. Anything you want to add about your game?
Our defense finally looked the part.
Nice.
We have invested so much into this defense, and I felt like last year everybody was like, oh, they're going to be the best defense, and it didn't look very good. I think our defensive coach, he's kind of like his job's on the line, so maybe like things are, but then another year like to groove together and like maybe it's all kind of happening now.
I think so. I think you guys are looking pretty solid.
Yeah, but I mean the Bears, like I said, they kind of stink.
It doesn't matter. You scored 38 points. Yeah. Like, okay, I get it. The Bears might not be that great, but
right. But I mean, Justin Fields,
you guys were
runs
limited,
a lot, and we contained him. So
it was crazy. One thing I did see about that game was like, so you guys were winning, and they still were playing the game out. They played till the clock ran out, but like they were just walking. Like I know they knew they weren't gonna win, but there was it was like so
after
weird.
the half, they all just everybody on the sideline for the Bears was just like there was no.
That's how Jalen Hurts was.
There was just. Like, no one wanted to win that game. Like, this is a rivalry. Like, have some spirit.
Yeah, like some spark. I don't know.
Frustrating. I feel bad for Chicago fans.
That is the biggest thing that I think I've heard, which is annoying. Like, more than I've heard about Jordan Love is, like, just how flat the Bears look.
But it was. Like I'm not even just, like, shitting on them, you know? Like, I don't hate the Bears. I dislike the Vikings way more than the Bears. But, like, as a Chicago fan, that is painful.
At home?
At home. Yeah. You're like, okay, finally. Like, I've been hearing all offseason that the Bears are going to the Super Bowl. This is our time to shine. You know, the bad man's gone. You're going to lose.
Do you think that that's what it was, as they thought that you were going to be like a layup team without Aaron Rodgers?
Well, I don't know if that's the whole problem, but I think it's part of it.
And they're like, oh, we're going to have another, like, year of just bullshit even without Aaron Rodgers. Like, the Packers are just always going to, like, maybe they were just little, like, sore sports about, like,
I don't know,
thinking one thing and not happening.
I saw a thread last night before the Rodgers-Jets thing, but it was like a ask... Is what was worse, the loss for the Bears or the loss for the Giants? Like, who do you think, what fan base is more humiliated this week?
Obviously, the Giants. That was at their home.
It was very 50-50. But, like, the Bears...
It has to be the Giants.
The Bears went into this game thinking that, okay, Aaron Rodgers is gone. This is our time. We can, like, kind of turn the tables around now. And just completely got obliterated. They realized, like, Jordan Love actually might be a guy. But then again, the Giants were like a playoff team last year. And that's like a really far way to fall.
The NFC East community, we all thought the Cowboys were going to be the worst team in our division this year.
You did?
Yeah, that's going around on social media. But it's also because everybody hates the Cowboys. And like,
true.
40-0. I saw this stat, though, that like on my Facebook, and I'm like, three of these things are not true. They were basically saying how, like, I wish I saved it, but, like, how that is, like, there was, like, that's the biggest, like, deficit that there's ever been.
Yes, yeah.
That's the first time that there was, like, there's never been more than 7-0 sacks in one game. Not true. We sacked Carson Wentz 9 times.
Was that Sunday night? I think it was Sunday Night Football, though.
It didn't say that on the thing.
It didn't.
Maybe they left that part off.
Sunday Night Football game.
Then this didn't say that. They were like in the NFL. And I'm like, that's not true because we've sacked Carson Wentz 9 times. And I don't think Jalen Hurts got sacked at all that game. And then there was, but maybe he did get one, but still like 9-1 is still more than 7-0.
Yeah.
And then there was another one that said like they had 3 pick six, I think that game, or turnovers in one quarter. And I'm pretty sure the Cowboys had 4 against the Colts last season in one quarter.
It might have been Sunday Night Football or primetime football.
Wasn't the Colts-Cowboys game a Sunday night game? It was either a Monday night or a Sunday night game.
I don't know. I don't remember that. I think it was a Monday night game. For some reason, I feel like we were.
But I just don't think that. I was watching it at home. I think it was a Sunday night game.
Sunday night.
So then that's not true either. Yeah, I should have done that before we filmed this episode.
We had a lot to talk about today.
But, I mean, so I'm saying that the Cowboys didn't do 3-0. They actually did 4-0 in another game. And I'm like, that's kind of like an annoying thing to be right about. So I don't want to be right about it anyway. I'm giving them more props. But, yeah, no, I would definitely say, like, a Bears fan, I should be used to losing to the Packers. And the loss, like, the Bears did end up getting 20 points. So it wasn't, like, 0 points.
Yeah.
To 40.
True.
With Saquon Barkley.
It was an ugly 20.
I think Saquon Barkley is a little overrated.
I know you were saying that yesterday.
I just think he's so he's kind of how Zeke ended up being. Like,
do you think the Giants are going to be that bad all season?
No, absolutely
I don't think
not.
so
No.
either.
They'll come back from this. They have a good coach.
Yes.
They'll come back from this.
They're going to kick into gear.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
It was a fluke game.
Totally.
Like, maybe they were destined to lose anyway, but, like, the 40-0 was a fluke. I also felt bad because they had this whole, like, 9/11 ceremony.
Oh, my God. Just everything.
And then, like, you can't even score a field goal.
New York had a really rough
That stadium had a rough weekend.
Just like the memes yesterday, too. I was like, I can't laugh at this. Like, it was just, it was just kind of like, I can't laugh at it. Like, I wanted to, but I can't.
So, yeah, like, I don't know. I felt really bad for the Giants, but they'll recover. They'll recover. They'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Cowboys will go downhill. They'll go uphill.
Yeah, we'll see. The season is young.
I know. I talked about it at the start of this episode, but like I think that Daniel Jones is also still like fine too. My thing with Saquon Barkley is like I'm gonna compare him to Zeke. When Zeke was starting out on the Cowboys, like, he was such a weapon, jumping over people, doing all this crazy stuff. And then he just, like, they used him so much that I think he got worn down, and then just teams knew what to expect. And I think Saquon Barkley is but also he was running against, like, probably the best defense in the NFL. So
he got paid.
We'll see how Saquon is against this week's matchup, which I'm not sure who they play. But
we'll go over that.
Yeah. So then we're going to wrap it up. Did you have anything else about the Bills and the Jets game?
I guess the guy, what was his name? He was on Hard Knocks. They kind of really zeroed in on his story in the last week of Hard Knocks. They pulled him into the office, and I guess he thought he was going to get cut. He was the one that had the kick return. The kick return at the end of the game, and they put him on the squad, and then he went out last night and won the game basically for the Jets. Like, that was so majestic. Yeah. I enjoyed that.
That was crazy.
Very cool.
Oh my God. Our only overtime game of week 1.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm really happy they got the W. I feel like they really needed that after the Rodgers thing last night.
I think the fans really needed that.
And then Whitehead, he had 3 picks on Josh Allen last night. I guess he had an incentive. The Jets gave him an incentive in his contract to have, 3 picks this season, and he would make an extra $250,000. And that was season. He did that last night.
That's crazy. I wonder how many times that's happened.
I know.
Somebody's had 3 interceptions
talking
in one
about that
game.
Earlier. Like, we want to look into incentives on contracts.
Yeah.
You know,
we'll go,
how many
we haven't
players
gone
have
over
Super Bowl incentives or Pro Bowl incentives. It's kind of a cool thing to dive into.
I will say, I think that the kicker, Bass, kind of aided in that touchdown because, like, you know, this is where I would need, like, a diagram, but I wouldn't even know what I'm, like, drawing, but you had that man on the Jets, like, running the ball, and, like, he looked like he was getting kind of, like, herded into, like, going out of bounds.
Yes,
and then you just have, like, Bass, like, run around and, like, defend the out of bounds and, like, literally push him back in.
I love that.
And then he just, like, ran in for the
touchdown. I love when kickers, like, get involved in blocking.
I don't. It's like, fucking scary.
It is.
I'm sorry.
But it's like,
scary.
It's one of my favorite things to see, though. I'm always like, yeah. Like,
we also,
it feels wrong.
I never want to see that. Please, Jake Elliott, do not do that. You are too tiny and too valuable. Just... We'll recover the touchdown.
That's something I kind of like didn't talk about during our game. I'll just be really quick, but we have a new kicker this year, and I just wanted to give a little credit to our kicker because the kicking looked great in our game.
Nice.
So yeah, thank you, Anders Carlson.
Cool. Where'd he come from?
No idea, but I love him.
Okay, so before we go into this week's matchups, we got to talk about the contracts. You had wanted to go over the contracts. Oh, yes.
Two huge contracts happened this week.
Joe Burrow
got paid $250 million.
More than that.
$250 million.
More than that, $275.
$275?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
$1 million.
That is insane.
I think that's a little high for Joe Burrow because but I guess it doesn't matter, like, your record if you end up going to the playoffs anyway. Yeah. But, like, we just know that he's kind of had this, like, trend of being very slow.
Yeah, it kind of goes like this.
I love Joe Burrow, though.
I do, too. I have nothing bad to say.
I just think that that's, like, That's so steep. You're taking money away from like
but it's the new
getting a better offensive line. And
it's the new normal, and I mean, it's crazy the amount of money these guys make. You're putting your body on the line.
Yeah.
My God.
Maybe that's why it's become so much, because like a lot of these people, like once they leave the NFL, like there's irreversible damages.
Totally. I mean, I was thinking about like Rodgers this morning, like waking up and like that's so scary to think.
Well, think about like I think the biggest one, other than like those people that like turn into murderers, is like Alex Smith.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my God.
You know what I mean?
He's going through it. I saw a thing the other day. I'm like, that guy went through so much with his injury and like thinking he was going to be paralyzed forever. I just saw that. He
almost lost his leg and
almost lost his legs. Like had a crazy infection.
Yeah.
And then I just saw last week there was something about his daughter has like crazy, like a terrible brain cancer.
No way.
Little girl. I think she's like 7 or 8. I'm like, how did some people just get dealt such shitty cards? You know?
I didn't know that. That's really sad.
Very upsetting. But anyway, wish him all the best and his family.
Yeah, for real. So then the other one we had was Chris Jones. That's his name?
Chris
this
Jones.
Guy.
Defense. Major defensive player. Maybe the biggest for the Chiefs.
Me and my mom, I watched the game with her on Thursday. Like, I have this opinion about these players that are like, I mean, he's a key player, but not the key player. And
not for that team, but on the defense.
No, yeah, but like, what's his actual position on defense? Is he on the line or is he a secondary?
I think he's on the line.
So I don't know that much about this guy, to be honest.
No, I don't know much about other defenses other than my own or fantasy. You know,
I don't really follow the Chiefs, so like maybe that's also why I'm just like, who cares about this guy? Like,
he is important.
I think if the Chiefs had won, that would have blown up in his face.
I was gonna say, I think on Friday there was like 2 major arguments. Like, wow, the Chiefs looked okay without him. You know, like, do they give him a contract? They survived without him.
Yeah.
The game wasn't absurdly out of hand.
But if they had him, would they have held?
I think the offense was more.
Yeah, but
a lot in that game.
If he's a lineman, a lot of the Lions scoring and like getting downfield was through their running back. Was through Montgomery.
Yeah.
I think he had 2 touchdowns. He had at least 1 touchdown. So like. That really, like, the Lions kind of helped his case about getting paid more. But to me, like, I just think that, like, these sit-outs, like, demanding more money. And then, like, he's, like, sitting in a booth at the game.
I thought that was so weird.
Like, it's distasteful.
Yeah, I agree. It's so bizarre.
Yeah, and it's just so also, bizarre. Like, I really wanted another player to have a standout game and then, like, them realize
just
they
like
don't
they can move on.
Yeah,
also,
like,
he was, like, sandwiched between his, like, agents, and they just looked like, those 2 guys looked, like, so slimy.
Oh, my mom thought they were bodyguards.
They looked like they were in the mafia, but they were his agents.
Oh, we were like, maybe it's his bodyguards because he's sitting out.
That was weird. That whole thing was very bizarre.
I'm just like,
yes, it worked.
Like, get over yourself. But it worked in his favor. So I'll cover this one just because there's kind of a lot to like unravel. So his base 1-year contract is $19.5 million for this season. And then he's like loaded with all these incentives. So you have $1 million as long as he plays 35% of the season.
Which should be fine.
That's as long as he doesn't get injured.
Right.
And then, so that's 35%. 50% of, like, so if he plays half the season, half the snaps, he will actually get $2 million because they'll add another $1 million on top of the 35%. He will get $500,000 on top of that if he has 15 sacks.
Which
is kind of hard.
Yeah, it's a
the rest of these are kind of just like very unlikely. Yeah.
Right.
So like 15 sacks. I mean, that's a lot of sacks.
That's a lot of sacks.
Yeah.
I wonder what his record was last year.
It wasn't 15.
It wasn't 15.
Bosa had the highest sacks. And then we had like
he just got paid a shit ton too.
I don't think he's, like, also another one that's, like, worth, like...
Oh, no. I think Bosa's phenomenal.
He's great. He's really good, but, like, he lets people buy him still. Like,
yeah.
You know, my whole thing is, like, great. Like, you have all these sacks, but, like, if you're still allowing people, like, if you're allowing more running... Like, he made a lot of mistakes when they played us, you know, against our, at the time, rookie running back. Like... And I've seen, even on parts of the Steelers games, like, I wasn't really, like, Nick Bosa to me, like, he's great, he's really good, like, he's on a good team that wins a lot, but, like, imagine if the 49ers offense wasn't as good as they are, like, do you think people would still think Nick Bosa is, like, as great, like, if his team in general was just not, like, I know that sounds kind of weird, like, teams. He's a defensive player, and, like, it's really separate of, I think he's just... His great team makes him look better. No, I think he's a good player, but I think he's like...
It draws more attention to him in his position. I get you.
Yeah. Like, I think there's... I think he got Defensive Man of the Year last season. I don't think he... Did he have the most sacks, or was it someone else? And then he was number 2. There was, like, some other guy that had, like, a lot of sacks. It wasn't Micah Parsons. I don't know.
Micah Parsons was great this week too.
Yeah, he's always really good, but he's like kind of scary. Like, he's kind of like animalistic.
Yeah, animalistic. Yeah.
But anyway, so like, I guess like there are. I guess Nick Bosa's great at defending quarterbacks, but like things still get by him. Like, I don't know. I shouldn't really be saying this because I don't watch the 49ers that closely. I just wasn't the times that I've seen Nick Bosa. We did have
dinner next to him.
We did, and I also wasn't impressed. Like, he seemed kind of, like, douchey.
Yeah, they kind of seemed a little douchey.
But then when you watch him in his, like, video reels, he looks so funny. And I'm like, I did not get the vibe, like, that he just seemed kind of like, ugh.
I mean, hard to say.
Anyway, I gotta stop with this, like, hatred.
The 49ers hate? We have a 49ers fan that actually subscribes to us.
I think okay, I'll just be like, I'm just jealous that everybody, but also like everybody focus on the 49ers end because we do better when we're not being focused on.
That's okay. The hype is going to move to the Cowboys, and then you're just going to channel more hate to the Cowboys.
That's only going to last for like 2 weeks. Trust me. The Cowboys is a team that people love to love when it's convenient and love to hate when it's convenient.
God. The memes about the Cowboys always kill me.
When they're
like even
in the hate version, not when they're in the love version.
Even before the season started, like NFL memes posted something like the Cowboys have already been eliminated from the playoffs or something.
Yeah, like
it cracks me up. It always gets me.
The dynamic between fans and like the Cowboys is but the Cowboy fans like on my Instagram like they just make me want to vomit, and on my Facebook like. I'm just so...
I always get, like, the memes, too, that are, like, the Cowboys fan starter pack, and it's, like, a baggy Cowboys jersey and, like, Jinko jeans.
A cowboy hat, a silver cowboy hat.
Yeah, and, like, a really, like, gaudy, like... it's so funny. I love it.
Anyway,
back to the contract.
So, the 15 sacks, $500,000. Then he's also, if $1 million if he makes first-team All-Pro, and the Chiefs make it to the Super Bowl.
Okay. I know how you feel about that, but...
I don't think the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl this year.
I'm sure most players' contracts have Super Bowl incentives.
We were talking about that, yeah. So I think that these aren't that surprising.
Right.
The $2 million 50% thing is like kind of just give him the $2 million. You know he's going to play unless he gets injured.
Right.
But maybe that's why they're doing it. It's more of like a security for them. In case this man gets injured. But I feel like there has to be a bunch of incentives on contracts with Super Bowls.
We should look into that. It'd be interesting to
learn. Like I'm sure everybody gets a bonus when they even
I know
make
there's
it to
a
the
Pro
Super
Bowl
Bowl
bonus.
Yeah. So, and then the final one was $2 million if he's made Defensive Man of the Year and the Chiefs win the Super Bowl.
Interesting. I know that they said like this contract was really dragged out. Also because I guess Kelsey hasn't gotten paid yet. He's due for a contract, and he makes like nothing.
He deserves more than this
Absolutely, and that's where a lot of the controversy came from. Like they're like, wow, Travis Kelsey really... I think he makes like $17 million. He's like one of the bottom paid tight ends. And we saw this week how important Kelsey is to that offense. He's that team. So
I think
Mahomes is also due for an extension too.
He's on a 10-year contract.
I know, but I think that they said he's due to be paid more too as well.
I think that if you win a Super Bowl, you should just automatically get some kind of a raise.
A pay increase.
But I'm wondering. So like, I would say, I don't know this for certain, but like, I would say that teams probably do all have incentives for Super Bowl wins, but maybe they're just not $2 million Super Bowl incentives.
Maybe like 25,000 or something like that.
Yeah, like some kind of like bonus.
And a Toyota Tacoma or something.
Oh, I wish. I want a Toyota Tacoma. Is that who sponsors the NFL?
I don't know. I was just throwing that out there. I just thought of a Toyota Tacoma for some reason.
And they get to go to Disney World.
Yeah, and Disney World.
Or whatever. Do they still do that?
Yeah. Cool.
All right, should we get into the matchups?
Yeah, let's go. Come on.
Okay.
I'm gonna run it back.
I'm still going with my like off the wall picks. That's gonna be my new thing this season.
Off the wall. That was me. I took chances last year. You remember? That was like my whole thing.
Were you doing that on purpose?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or so I say. I gotta erase
this is a tough one. If you're going off of week 1.
Yeah, this week's a little bit.
So maybe week 2 just is always the hardest for predictions.
I feel like week 1 is tough too because you like literally have no basis. You know? Like
yeah. All right, so right off rip, we have the Vikings at Eagles.
I know what I'm doing here. You know what you're doing here. Yeah. I need to erase this. I'm going slow. I have a small eraser. Okay. I'm not looking. I already know what I'm doing. Duh. Ready?
Duh, I want the Eagles.
Duh, it's the Eagles.
Hopefully. God. Again, like I said, reasons of concern or whatever that phrase is, our secondary defense being already our weakest part of the team, and now we're even more damaged than we were to begin with. But we'll see how it goes.
Kirk Cousins also looked in usual form. So.
I think our defensive line will
yeah
actually have more sacks.
You're going to be all right.
Yeah.
Let's hope so.
I'm thinking of making the Eagles my pick in the survival league. Because, so there's a couple different reasons for that. Moving forward, like, aside from playing, like, the Bucks, like, our schedule just gets harder and harder and harder.
So you're like, let's get this out the way?
This could be the week to, like, use the Eagles. Because, like, I mean, obviously, I'm always going to say the Eagles are going to win this week. But, like, realistically, like, our chances of actually winning kind of drop a lot.
It's going to get more difficult.
Yeah, we have such a difficult schedule.
I know.
Luckily, a lot of our difficult like matchups are home games, though.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
That always helps.
Then we have the Chiefs. These are all 1:00 games. So we have the Chiefs at Jacksonville. Do we know about Kelsey's return?
They're saying he will most possibly return. Most possibly.
Man, this one is really
probably
tough.
Most possibly. Probably return. He's rehabbing as we speak. I don't know though. You never know what's like smoke and mirrors, you know, for a team. Ready? I went Kansas City.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay, so
they're not going to lose 2 weeks in a row.
I really wanted to go with Jacksonville.
I did too, but they're not going to lose 2 weeks in a row.
But then I think about like the last time Kansas City played the Chiefs was in the American. Was it? Was it in the American League championship game?
The AFC?
Was that last year? No. It was when, okay, it wasn't. They did play in the playoffs, though. That was the last time.
Yeah.
It was. It was when Mahomes got injured.
Yeah.
Did
the ankle.
Jacksonville went all the way to the...
What?
No. Kansas City won,
City obviously beat them.
But, like, was that the...
How was that just last year? It feels like 10 years ago. Yeah.
No, it was definitely... No, because...
Was it the wild card?
No, the wild card was the Jags and the Chargers with the other Bosa, and then he's the reason they lost the game.
Oh, right. Yeah,
and then I think it went to But no, because like Mahomes got injured in that game. That's when he first hurt his ankle.
Yeah.
Was against Jacksonville, and they kept him in. But I want to say that was the same night that we played the Giants. And then, but who did Kansas City play? I'm going to look this up real quick. Just because it's going to bother me.
I don't remember. I feel like I paid attention, but like I wasn't in it as much as I typically am because the Packers were eliminated at that point, and I was sad.
Oh, American League. That's baseball. What am I talking about?
I know. When you said American League, I was like, huh?
Well, it is American football.
What year
league,
is this? I mean, yeah. AFC Championship.
Okay, so
Divisional.
It was... What was the score? Let's see. It was Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, it was the Chiefs and the Bengals again. Okay, so, wow, Mahomes was injured
my God,
in
that's
that
right.
game, too?
I guess.
Did he play against the Bengals?
Yeah. There was.
Why don't I remember
You know what? That just feels
The score...
so crazy because, like, the whole Hamlin thing happened.
No. It says the Bengals won 27-24, January 30th, 2022. That can't be right. The Bengals didn't win.
But you remember with the DeMar Hamlin thing, like the Chiefs automatically, there was something with like the playoffs, they got like help.
Okay, 27-24 was the year before, I think, when the Bengals ended up going to the Super Bowl against the Rams. Last year was 23-20.
Okay.
And it was just in a neutral location, is what it was.
That's right, it was the neutral location, yeah.
Okay. I don't know why this says January 30th, 2022, though. That should be 2021. Anyway, okay, so the last time the Chiefs and... The whole point of this was the last time the Chiefs and the Jags faced each other was that game in the playoffs in round 2. And Jacksonville actually put up a pretty good fight.
Absolutely. They almost pulled it off.
Yeah, so that's probably going to be a really close game. But
that's probably my most exciting game this week.
This one's so hard to call. Like, this is kind of honestly how I felt about the Lions and the Chiefs game. Like, a little bit of my heart wanted to go with the Lions. Yeah. But I'm just like, I can't in week 1.
Just based on what you know.
Definitely not going with any of these teams in my survival game.
Yeah. There's some I want to stay way far from.
Then we have Seahawks at Lions.
All right. I'm going Lions.
I went with Lions too. I have a feeling you and I are going to be very
similar this week. Yeah. Probably.
This is another game that I'm considering in my
survival
just because I kind of wanted to keep the Eagles for when we play Tampa Bay, and I just think that with the Seahawks being kind of injured right now, like this might be a good move.
I said the same thing to Georgia. I was like, I think I'm going to take the Lions this week.
Okay.
But I'm not sure yet.
I feel more confident about the Lions beating the Seahawks than the Eagles beating the Vikings. Then we have Ravens at Bengals.
That's a really tough one.
Division game.
At Bengals. I think I finally learned how to spell it. I went with the Bengals.
Me too. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so the reason why I went with the Bengals on this one is pending on the weather.
True.
I think that they have a lot to work on at practice.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see
and they're
that
at home.
Yes. I mean, they almost were at home. It was in Ohio.
True.
They were 3 hours away, I think.
True.
But that was just also the conditions were not very good.
It was just ugly.
Wait, tell the people that thing that you noticed about that game.
Oh, my conspiracy theory?
Yeah.
So we were watching Red Zone, and I think like that they were the Bengals were like the first team they kind of showed like at kickoff, and it did not look like Joe Burrow. Like, I had this conspiracy theory going, like, that Joe Burrow showed up really late, and they just, like, put some random dude in. Because, like, he looked like it was either Joe Burrow, like, really coked out, or just like a replacement for a moment until he got to the stadium. Because like his face, it didn't look like Joe Burrow. It looked like someone that was like tweaking out. Like his eyes were like weird and his hands were shaking.
But it was also raining and probably cold out.
It was like it creeped me out. I don't know if it was like just the angle of it was really weird. And then he just like played so poorly.
We have to,
But I didn't really see anything. I was like, the internet's going to run away with this. I'm going to see that.
Oh, you looked into
I didn't really see anything. Like, Twitter had some stuff, but, like, Twitter's a cesspool. Like, you can't trust anything on there. It was weird. That did not look like Joe Burrow.
I don't think I had started watching
He, like, got his, like, contract or whatever, like, 2 nights prior, so I was like, he's probably out partying.
I don't think Joe Burrow's like that.
I don't think so either. It was weird, though.
Then we have the Colts at Texans. This is another one I might consider.
That's a tough one. I'm going Colts.
I went with Colts also.
Yeah? I like what I'm seeing from them.
I wasn't blown away with
either of those two?
I was impressed by the Colts.
You were? Okay.
I might go with them this week because, like...
That's a good one, too.
So my strategy also is
one,
to,
though.
like...
Horses.
I think that a lot of people are... No, not horses, but I like that. A lot of people are probably going with the Eagles and the Lions.
Yeah.
So, would one of those teams lose, a lot of people are probably going to get eliminated.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be one of those people. So, if I go with the Colts, I don't think a lot of people are going to go with the Colts. But I also thought I was going to be one of the few people going for Washington.
No, huge... It was like the third largest percentage of our survivor pool. What was the first one? Ravens?
The Ravens. Half the people went with Ravens.
Crazy.
Yeah, I don't want to follow the flock.
How many did we say got eliminated? 16 people?
I think 24.
It was 24. And there's 175 entries?
Something like that. Yeah, crazy.
So cool.
So, like, I might go with the Colts.
All right, cool.
I think they're going to beat the Texans.
I think so, too.
Then we have the Bears at Bucks.
Okay. Bears!
I like the Bears.
I went with the Bucks. This is going to be very overwhelming.
I think okay, it's funny too that
the
the Bucks are playing like back-to-back NFC North teams.
Yeah.
I think the Bears are kind of like gonna be like,
we're so tired of everybody talking smack.
Yeah, I hope
let's
for their
pull it
sake.
together.
Yeah, so I could be wrong about this one. This is one of my like.
But isn't this the year of the Baker Mayfield comeback?
No, what comeback? When was there ever a year of the Baker Mayfield?
I don't know.
There wasn't.
I don't know. All I know is he uses cocoa butter.
Good for him.
Good for him.
Then we have the Packers at Falcons.
Duh. I think I just always am gonna take the Pack. Always.
I think the Packers will hand it. This might be another week that I go with the Pack. Like, maybe I'll go with the Packers in the thing.
Oh.
Against the Falcons.
I kind of don't want you to because that scares me. Like,
Why?
I don't want to jinx it.
I'm not... Yeah, but at some point I'm going to have to go with them.
I know.
Potentially. This only goes for 9 weeks, so
yeah.
I also might not have to go with them. But, again, like, I just think that your guys' defense...
Finally,
like, Falcons' defense doesn't really have anything.
Yeah.
And, like, you guys have a really good offense.
Yeah. The only thing that scares me is, like, the run game. But I'm just traumatized from having a mediocre defense.
Yeah, so maybe I will stick with the Colts.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Then we have the Raiders at Bills.
Okay. Raiders at Bills.
I went with the Bills.
Me too. It seems like the rational thing. They're at home. They're coming off a loss.
Yeah.
You know?
But you know, like, the Bills have had back-to-back losses.
Totally. They didn't... I'm sorry. They looked messy last night. They didn't look like Bills form. Typical Bills form. But it's week 1.
Yeah. That's another one, though, that I'm like, if the Raiders win, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
How did Garoppolo do?
That was the one game I don't think I saw a speck of. I don't think I saw...
Me either.
That was Broncos, too, right? Yeah, like Seahawks, Rams, I didn't see a speck of that game.
I want to say that game...
The 4 o'clock games, I didn't see much.
I think that, like...
So I
wonder... I'll have to look into, like, the quarter, like, breakups. But, like, I think at one point the Broncos might have actually been winning. Like...
Yeah, I know that.
Let me see what the final score is. I think it was pretty close.
Had a touchdown. I don't know. I just have this theory that, like, the Broncos are still messy. Like, I just think there's a lot of drama there
this year than they were last year.
For sure. But
it was literally 17 to 16.
Wow. There's a lot of games like that this week that were very close.
Wait, what am I doing? I don't want to watch this right now. I
don't want to watch that either.
I just wanted the breakdown of the game. I'll do that later. Okay, that makes me feel a little bit more confident about the Bills, though. Then we have the Chargers at Titans.
Chargers. Another one. I'm not going to lose 2 weeks in a row.
They barely lost that
game.
That's probably going to be
the Dolphins were looking good. That was tough.
Was probably their toughest game that they'll play all season.
Definitely.
I would not be worried if I was the Chargers. Okay, then we have 2 4:05 games and 2 4:25 games. So the first 4:05 game is the 49ers at Rams.
Interesting matchup. Is this where we're going to differ?
Probably, because I went with the Rams.
I went with the Niners.
Okay, so I'm probably going to regret this.
No! This is the year of Allie taking chances.
Am I just being bitter and biased? I have nothing to be bitter about, though, but...
if anything, I should hate the Niners, not you.
That's what Eric says.
Yeah.
And he thinks that... He's like, okay, so we were watching Red Zone, and, like, we're watching, like, 49ers just demolish... Not even demolish, okay? Like, I'm sorry. Like, demolish is 40-0, not 30-7. I'm sorry. Like, it's not, okay?
That's a good spread.
It is, but the thing is, like... You can't look at the score. Like, the Steelers had so many chances to score touchdowns, and there was perfect passes to wide open receivers that were in their hands, and they dropped the ball.
Yeah.
They literally just dropped the ball in that game.
Hey, it was just sloppy.
Yes.
It's a week 1 slop
They
fest.
put up... Kenny Pickett and the offensive line put up a good fight, and the receivers just could not get the job done.
I am with you. I think
this number one defense is
okay.
giving this team, and it wasn't even like there were so many times it was not a pressure thing. It was just straight up the receivers they had butterfingers.
Yeah.
So in the later half.
Well,
of the game,
moving forward, it'll be interesting because if they're playing easy teams, like when they finally have to go play a hard team.
Okay, so Eric was like, do you think the 49ers is, like, the game you're most worried about? And I'm like, no. I'm worried about playing the Dolphins. Like, yeah, I'm not worried about the 49ers. And if we lose, like, I'm not worried about that either. Like, if we lose, we lose. Like, I'm going to be annoyed because people are probably going to rub it in my face. But It's also just, like, whatever. We beat you 30 to whatever, 30-something to 6 or 7. Like, in a championship game. You guys almost lost to the Cowboys. Like, I see the holes in the armor, the chinks in the armor. Like, I see them.
I respect that. I still think they're going to be a contender.
Oh, of course they are.
Yeah.
They're not going to not be. There's not that many contenders
as much as it pains
NFC.
me. Listen, it pains me too. I don't want to run into them.
Anyway, Rams.
Hope we do, though.
I think the Rams are finally kind of, like,
finding the groove again.
Wait, who's their coach now? It's not that one guy.
It is, yeah.
I thought he was doing, like, some kind of, like...
No, he's staying with the team. Okay, he's still there.
Then we have the Giants at Cardinals.
I'm laughing.
The only thing about Cardinals is their field sucks.
Well, there's a lot of, like, hoopla going on about turf again. Like, a lot of talk about turf because of the whole Aaron Rodgers thing. Like, Bakhtiari came out last night and he's like, get your shit together, NFL. Like, this wouldn't have happened if you let us play on grass.
So when
we're having the turf argument again.
When we were playing against New England, that's also turf. And I think that had we never look good when we play on turf fields. But the Arizona field is not turf, it's grass.
It's grass?
But
pure grass, or is it hybrid?
I want to say it's pure grass because they, like, pull it's on, like, these, like, platforms that they, like, pull out and get sun. But, like, I think it's like the quality of like the soil is just like everything like is super slippery.
Yeah.
Like even the Super Bowl, like everybody was slipping everywhere.
Yes, I remember that. Well, like Bakhtiari said, like that it's like crap because I guess for the World Cup they're replacing the turf with complete grass, and he's like, why can't you do that for NFL players to keep us safe? And
because they're spending all their money on contracts.
Yeah, I feel like he has a point.
Bakhtiari, maybe everybody stop demanding like $250 million contracts.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, God, you got to make your conditions safe for players. It's crazy. I don't know. I agree with him. I think, but like everybody says, like Lambeau is one of the best places to play because they have a hybrid of grass and turf. When I did the tour of the stadium a few weeks ago, they like explained to us like how it's like sewn in and they have to like cut it. They cut it every day.
You know
to, like,
how expensive
it's
that is?
insanely expensive. But if it's keeping your players healthy,
I am definitely for real grass.
Yeah.
Or you need to design cleats that are made for turf.
Absolutely.
I know they have different pairs that they'll wear.
Yes, they wear different.
But it's still
that
like,
came up in a game last season.
Well, think about too, like, okay, so when we were, and this could go for the Jets game because remember they were under weather
conditions. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's an outdoor stadium. So like when you're using synthetic grass and it's like kind of like a plasticky material and now it's wet. Right. It's super slippery.
Yeah. And I guess there was like a lot of videos of like Rodgers like foot, like it kind of looked like he was like getting like stuck, like it kind of like there was like resistance, you know?
Yeah.
There. But I don't know. For me, like with that whole thing, I think it was more of like the offensive line not protecting him properly.
Yeah.
Than anything.
I'm definitely on the pro grass side over the turf side.
Me too.
Like
I think Bakhtiari's right.
Okay, so I went with did we show who we went with? No, because I went into this whole...
What was this?
Giants and Cardinals.
Yeah.
And then I, like, got distracted.
Am I going to regret this?
Did you go with the Cardinals?
No, I went with the Giants.
Oh, okay. Well, you won't, because I went with the Giants, too.
So
Either
way, it's a wash.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think that they just had a bad day.
I do too, and I don't think they're going to get like embarrassed like that 2 weeks in a row. If they get embarrassed by the Cardinals like that, then we have a whole new thing to talk about.
It's only week 2 though.
Yeah.
Okay, then we have the Jets at Cowboys. This is kind of an easy one.
Yeah. I hate it, but I went with the boys.
I'm probably going to lose fantasy this week because Breece Hall might not get as much as
Breece Hall will be just fine. That man's
not against
maniac.
Micah Parsons. But, you know, so that being said, that could mean a better chance for the Jets to win. I just don't think Zach Wilson...
Is it?
The Jets might be losing another quarterback.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm on the side of, like, the run game's going to get better.
Ew, I have 2 division rivals in a row. Gross. And then we have the Commanders at Broncos.
Yeah. Just delete it. Just delete the game.
I can't go with 3 divisions.
Oh, man. I'm going Commanders.
I went with the Broncos.
I knew who you went with, but I was still going Commanders.
I think we're seeing a different Broncos team, and I might be the only one that notices.
I think they have a lot to prove.
I'm not sold on... I mean, I want the Commanders to do good because I have a lot of their players in fantasy. Well, I have Brian Robinson, but like I'm relying heavily on him. That's a toss-up.
I have to be
They were
Sam
really
Howell fan.
like... Commanders were like just typical Commanders. Like they were really like
I have to be a Sam Howell fan because my husband believes in Sam Howell. So
why?
I don't know. This is like his thing.
Who
he's
is
like,
Sam Howell?
He's like, oh, Sam Howell, oh, Dotson. Like that's his stack this season everywhere. He took Dotson in every league. Like he is convinced. So now I have to like go hard on the Commanders.
He got 79 fantasy points this week.
Okay.
Total.
Okay. I gotta be a supportive wife.
All right. Whatever you gotta do.
And if that plays out, I'm gonna, be like, you were right, honey. I don't ever call him honey. I just feel like I needed to say that.
All right. Sunday, we have Dolphins at Patriots. Yes. Sunday night game.
I can't wait for this game.
Yeah, but are you going to watch it or are you going to avenge Sevenfold?
I think I gotta go to A7X.
Just watch it on your phone.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
Maybe they'll have it on one of the screens.
They're gonna have it on. Fins up!
Dolphins.
Fins
They're
up!
going to destroy
I hope so.
this game.
I am a Dolphins fan moving forward.
100% they are going to destroy
I
this
love
game.
a lot of Dolphins fans, too. I know I said that last week. There's a lot of fair weather, but there's also some true blues.
There are.
And I love them.
Yeah. Then we have the Saints at Panthers. Monday night, round 1 at 7:05.
Damn, that's early. You're going to be at work.
Yeah. Don't eat the tacos at Bar Louie.
No.
Saints.
Oh,
wow. I thought you were going to go with the Panthers.
No, I'm going Saints. I feel like this is the week they're going to show some impressive moves. I think things are going to come together more for them this week. They're going to use Jamal a little bit more. Olave's going to get involved.
Each week it'll get better and better, I think, for that team.
I think so, too.
And then we have our final game of the week, Monday Night Football at 8, whatever time it is. The Browns at Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
Division game. Browns with back-to-back division games. I went with the Steelers.
Me too.
Damn it. Okay.
Steelers.
So
they're gonna be fine.
I know I've been preaching this all episode, but like my thing with the Steelers, from what I saw, I did not watch the whole game. I might even go and like just rewatch that game because I'm curious if like I'm talking out of my butt or not. But like, I think that the Steelers, they put up a good fight in the second half. I mean, the first half they were just like so bad.
Yeah.
It was not good.
Yeah, it was
but then
messy.
they came back and they like just kind of made a good run, and then they'd put in all the work and then just could not get the job done.
Yeah.
Do I think like, okay, so after the first quarter of that game, I knew that the Steelers were not going to win. I mean, the 49ers put up points pretty quick.
Yeah, it happened.
But then it just slowed down.
Yeah.
They put the brakes on, and I think the Steelers started figuring out that team. I don't know if that, like, maybe the 49ers had taken some players out. I don't know, but, like, I don't think they did.
Yeah.
And
probably just adjustments.
they kind of started, like, having a little bit of this, like, this uplift.
Yeah.
And then just they could not get a touchdown. Like, they were there, and they just could not do it. It was so frustrating.
Yeah. You think it's going to change this week?
Yeah.
I do too. Especially at home. I believe in Mike Tomlin.
I don't ever want the Browns to win.
I know.
Even though I have Nick Chubb.
I know.
But, yeah, so that's where I'm at now.
I'm not worried about the Steelers one bit.
I'm indifferent.
Maybe I'll eat my words, but I think it's going to be fine.
I know that, like, going forward after this week, I'll know, like, if I'm just kind of, like, I have no idea what I'm talking about. You know what I mean?
No, I feel like we're still in the very, like, experimental part of the season. I feel like after, like, 6 weeks, you should kind of have an idea. But just think of how many things shifted last season.
Like what?
Like us. We were a great example. Remember week 1? We got blown out.
Who did you guys play
the Vikings. 1? We got blown out by the Vikings.
Oh, yeah.
And then we almost clinched playoffs. Anything can happen.
Yeah. Interesting year.
Positive Patty.
Yeah. I think that the AFC is definitely more contenders than people thought there was. And NFC is now showing more contenders.
Absolutely.
But I think some of them are fakes.
We went into this season thinking the NFC was just going to be complete garbage, but it's really just kind of wide open.
Yeah, like I think the Saints are, we've talked about that.
The North is really
interesting. The Colts are
interesting.
kind of now like being a little impressive.
Yes.
I don't think
and
I
also,
thought
there's a lot like with the Saints too, with like Kamara coming back in a few weeks, like that could get more interesting.
Yeah. I'm happy for Derek Carr and then him being on the Saints.
Yeah. No, I like that
Better
fit.
than the
He
Raiders.
looks like, it's funny, like the two teams I would choose for Carr to be on would be like the Raiders or the Saints, just because he looks like someone that always has eyeliner on. Like he looks metal, so I'm like, those are perfect fits.
Yeah.
It's funny. He should go to Avenged Sevenfold on Sunday.
Maybe he'll be there.
Maybe he'll be there.
No, he won't. He will be... Oh, maybe because he doesn't have to be anywhere until Monday.
See you there, Derek Carr.